Jiang Sun glanced at the battle log on his panel. Iron Ball slays Shadow Cat LV.4. EXP, plus 180. One hit kill. 2,240 damage against swarms of monsters with only 400 HP. The overkill was nearly 5-fold. It was like firing a cannon at mosquitoes, sheer overkill. Whoa, Jiang Sun gasped. Even he was stunned. Aren't these stats a little ridiculous? Moreover, the newly added shock effect dealt roughly the same damage as that heavy strike. All the Shadow Cats that had not taken a direct hit were sent flying and killed instantly. Before he finished speaking, the Iron Ball charged toward the remaining Shadow Cats that had not been knocked away. Boom, boom, boom. 3 dull crashes rang out. Shadow Cats went flying everywhere, like tangled balls of yarn getting tossed about. The Iron Ball weaved among them, smashing squarely into one cat after another, sending each flying before wheeling around to strike the next. Its movements were fluid and graceful, far more agile than a sphere ought to be. Battle logs flooded the screen. Jiang Sun's mouth curled upward as he stared at the constant stream of plus 65 EXP notifications. 65 EXP per cat. 650 for 10, 6,500 for 100 universal EXP points. This was far more efficient than farming on the 3rd floor. Before he could finish calculating, the battle log stopped scrolling. The withered grass fell silent. Dozens of faint emerald, green light orbs had all vanished. The Iron Ball drifted slowly back and hovered beside his shoulder. Its golden runes glowed brightly, as if nothing out of the ordinary had just happened. That's it. Jiang Sun checked his EXP pool. Universal EXP, 6120. It had stood at 3,420 just moments ago. This single cat swarm had netted him 2,700 EXP. The Iron Ball had wiped out close to 400 Shadow Cats. Wow. He patted the Iron Ball. You didn't just advance to gold rank. You basically handed me a money printing machine. Beside him, the salt fish opened and closed its mouth, making soft puffing sounds. It had not gotten a chance to fight at all. With its glacial movement speed, by the time it could reach a monster, the Iron Ball had already obliterated it. Hold on. Let your Iron Ball buddy shine for a while. Once you hit gold rank, you'll get to dish out your own beat downs too. Jiang Sun glanced at it. The salt fish rolled its eyes in satisfaction. Fine, it thought. I'll go back to my old job and just be a salt fish for now. They pressed onward. Paths on the 4th floor were wider than those of the 3 previous floors, yet the light grew dimmer. Thin streaks of light occasionally filtered through cracks in the rock ceiling. Most areas were lit only by the small ball of white light atop Jiang Sun's apprentice short staff. The withered grass grew taller, rising from ankle height all the way to knee height. A foul stench hung thicker in the air. How big is this floor anyway? It's way larger than the ones above. Jiang Sun muttered. I've been walking for nearly half an hour and still haven't reached the far end. Most of the map on his panel had been revealed. The 4th floor formed an irregular oval, long from north to south and narrow from east to west. He was roughly in the north-central zone, with a large, unexplored stretch ahead. As he pondered, rustling sounds drifted from the distance. The noise was far heavier than the soft padding of Shadow Cats, which moved nearly silently on their paw pads. This sound made no attempt to hide itself. Thud, thud, thud drew closer, like some huge creature dragging its body across the ground. The Iron Ball vibrated faintly. Its runes brightened, and its heart, like internal throb, grew stronger. Jiang Sun crept toward the source of the noise. In the open space ahead lay an enormous lizard. Calling it merely a lizard felt underselling it. Its body stretched 3 meters long, covered in rock, gray skin with a stony texture. A row of sharp spines jutted along its back, running from the top of its head all the way to the tip of its tail. Its head was buried in the withered grass as it crunched on something, loud brittle gnawing sounds echoing out. Its front claws scraped against the ground every now and then, producing heavy thuds. Stone, skin lizard LV.4, Jiang Sun halted. Finally, something that could actually take a hit. He had just wanted to test the Iron Ball's new power, and a sparring partner had conveniently showed up. Still, why was this creature alone? Shadow Cats traveled in packs, yet this stone, skin lizard was all by itself grazing. The lizard finished its meal, lifted its head, and slowly twisted its neck. Pale gray vertical pupils swept across the surroundings before locking onto Jiang Sun's position. Not bad. Its senses were sharp enough to detect a meaningful threat in this direction. Since he had been spotted, there was no point in hiding. Time to charge straight in. Go get Iron Ball. Yet the stone, skin lizard only gave him one glance, then lowered its head and resumed scraping at the ground, acting as if he did not matter in the slightest. Did a lizard just look down on me? Jiang Sun's mouth twitched. All right then, no more holding back. Iron ball, ram it. The instant the words left his mouth, the iron ball shot forward as a streak of golden light. Thud. A heavy crash. The stone, skin lizard tumbled several times across the ground and lay motionless, dead in one hit. Slain stone, skin lizard LV.4, EXP plus 60. The iron ball floated back, its golden runes still shining bright, as if it had just kicked a pebble rather than smashing a 3-meter-long monster. Jiang Sun stared at the corpse dissolving into white light on the ground and fell silent for 2 seconds. Is this even supposed to be a fourth-floor monster? It went down way too easily. He thought it over. It made sense. Iron Ball boasted 560 attack. Shaking heavy strike multiplied that by 4.0, dealing 2,240 damage. The stone, skin lizard only had 700 HP and 20 defense. It could not even block a fraction of that blow. Granted, on the 3rd floor this lizard would have given his 2 summons a tough fight. Here, however, he glanced at the hovering iron ball. This thing was basically a spherical tank. Jiang Sun prepared to move on, when his peripheral vision caught sight of a crack in the ground where the lizard had been grazing. It was no natural rock fissure. Its edges were neat, as if something had deliberately covered it up. He knelt and brushed loose soil away from the crack. Faint dim light seeped up from below. Curious, he widened the opening. Beneath lay a shallow pit holding a fist-sized black crystal shard. Dim light glowed from deep inside the shard, like compressed dark starlight. Jiang Sun picked it up and turned it over in his hands. Obtained, Shadow Shard Enchantment Material ×1. Is this stuff useful? He figured whether it was useful or not, he might as well keep it. It was free loot after all. He brushed dirt off his hands and stood when the ground suddenly shook. Deep, rumbling tremors welled up from far beneath the earth. Then came distant cracking sounds. Crack, crack, as if something enormous was splitting apart. Before Jiang Sun could figure out what was happening, panel notifications popped up. Conditions for 4th floor hidden event met. Source of shadow is about to awaken. Jiang Sun froze. He looked down at the shadow shard in his hand, then toward the direction of the noise. Did that heavy strike from the iron ball break something? Jiang Sun stowed the shadow shard in his pocket and crept toward the source of the commotion. The farther he went, the dimmer it grew. Glowing ore in the ceiling seemed to shy away from this region, growing sparser the closer he drew. In the end, only the faint white light from his apprentice short staff illuminated his path. The stench in the air had transformed. Rotting reek gave way to an indescribable sweet, metallic tang, like aged, stagnant blood mixed with something else. Withered grass thinned out, exposing bare rock beneath his feet. Cracks multiplied across the ground, spreading from isolated splits into web, like patterns covering the passage. Dim light leaked from the fissures, matching the hue of the shard in his pocket. They sure went all out with this scene, he muttered. The iron ball hovered quietly by his shoulder, humming with steady low-frequency vibration, like a seasoned veteran unfazed by grand sights. At the end of the passage opened a huge stone cavern hall. Jiang Sun stood at the entrance, staring at the sight before him in astonishment. Suspended in the center of the hall was a massive black crystal, about as thick as a man's embrace. Its surface was crisp, crossed with cracks, dim light seeping through them like a broken, still, beating heart. More shadow shards littered the ground surrounding the crystal, identical to the one in his pocket. Beneath the crystal yawned a huge rift in the ground. It looked as though something had burst upward through bedrock from deep below. Rubble piled around the opening, and fissures kept spreading outward. That earlier cracking noise had come from this very crystal. Jiang Sun stared at it for several seconds. A thought crossed his mind. Could this be the source of the Shadow Cat's power? Had slaying over 400 Shadow Cats caused the crystal to fracture? Panel text popped up. Entering source of Shadow Zone. Shadow Cat kill count, 400+. Hidden event trigger conditions satisfied. Elite Shadow aggregate beginning to coalesce. Spawning imminently. Professions, proceed with caution. Here they come. Jiang Sun stepped backward several paces to create distance. The black crystal shuddered violently. Cracks raced across its entire surface, and then it exploded. Boom. Crystal shards sprayed outward. Dim light blazed blindingly bright for an instant. From the blast's epicenter roiled masses of shadow. Each stood over 2 meters tall, formless, churning and twisting like compressed darkness. Thin tentacles occasionally snaked out from their surfaces, their tips glowing faint purplish light. Most unsettling of all, right at the center of each shadow mass burned a vertical slit pupil glowing dark red. A cat, Like split crimson eye. Dozens of shadow masses, dozens of eyes, swiveled in perfect unison and locked onto Jiang Sun. Elite Shadow Aggregate LV.4 HP, 2000 attack, 130 defense, 20 skills, Shadow Clone. Spawn 3 Shadow Clones. Each deals 50% of the caster's damage. Cooldown, 3 minutes. Shadow Stealth. Merge into shadows. Next attack deals 200% damage. These things were deeply unsettling to behold. Despite their horrid appearance, they were assassin-type foes. They would spawn clones to draw attention, then slip into shadows for surprise strikes. Not a bad tactic, Jiang Sun mentally noted. He had picked up a few ideas. Iron Ball, get over here. The sight of these things creeps me out. Anyone would feel uneasy being stared down by hordes of one-eyed abominations. If it had been a crowd of beautiful women staring at him, he might have tolerated it. These grotesque monsters, however, needed to be erased. Without hesitation, the iron ball shot forward as a streak of golden light and crashed into them. Thud! The shadow creature was thrown several meters backward. Its form churned violently, and its vertical pupil constricted sharply. Shockwaves rippled outward, sending multiple nearby shadow masses flying. 2,220 floated above each shadow, and then they vanished, turning into white light. These foes were nothing but cannon, fodder, scary, looking, and little else. Even elites went down in one hit against the iron ball. The iron ball paid no mind, darting like lightning straight into the monster horde. Shaking heavy strike combined with shockwave splash damage overwhelmed the menacing swarm. Other shadow creatures reacted. Each split off 3 clones using their skill. Suddenly shadow forms filled every corner of the cavern. The iron ball smashed into every target it encountered, true body or clone alike. Purple, tipped tentacles lashed toward the iron ball. Most could not keep up with its speed, yet there were simply too many tentacles. Some managed to land lucky hits. Smack, smack, smack. The tentacle strikes could not pierce the iron ball's defenses at all. Not even its momentum slowed. Wave after wave of shadow monsters perished, only for more to emerge from the central rift. They seemed endless. Jiang Sun retreated with the salt fish toward the cavern entrance and waited. Still, individual shadow creatures detected him and drifted over to attack. That was when the salt fish got its turn to fight. Though Jiang Sun possessed decent HP and passive regeneration, he wanted to avoid getting whipped. Those hits hurt. The salt fish lacked the iron ball's overwhelming firepower, but it could still wear down and kill shadow foes after several rounds of combat. Jiang Sun kept careful watch over his surroundings. All of a sudden, a shadow erupted from his own shadow behind him and lashed out with a tentacle. 130 appeared above Jiang Sun's head. He had gotten ambushed after all. The monster had used shadow stealth, and he had no idea how long it had hidden within his shadow. Seeing Jiang Sun take damage, the salt fish flew into a rage. Abandoning the foe it had been fighting, it charged furiously at the shadow behind Jiang Sun. A powerful slap smacked straight into the shadow mass. Whatever counted as its head got hammered. Its eerie large eye squeezed shut. 384 popped up. Its slap struck once per second. It could finish off one shadow in 5 to 6 seconds. Perhaps through the mental link between summoner and summon, the iron ball sensed Jiang Sun's injury the instant it happened. It zipped over instantly and crushed both shadow monsters with 2 solid impacts. Jiang Sun stood there, heart pounding. Good job. Having you two makes me feel really safe. After this close call, Jiang Sun stayed extra vigilant, keeping the salt fish positioned behind him as a living shield. Ding. You have slain Elite Shadow Aggregate. EXP plus 350. Kill notifications flooded his system. As shadows fell, shadow shards piled up in his backpack, accumulating into a sizable heap. 350 Universal EXP per Elite. Not bad. Before the aftermath of this fight settled, tremors rumbled from the rift once more. Rumble. Stones hopped across the ground. Again. He voiced surprise, yet was not truly shocked. Every floor up to this point featured endless respawning foes. One single wave was never the end. Black fog billowed upward from the fissure like roiling storm clouds. Wave after wave poured forth. This horde was even larger than the last. Where the prior wave had been a flood of shadows, this one gushed out in swarms, filling most of the cavern. At least 500 were visible to the naked eye. Jiang Sun ducked his head and glanced toward the iron ball. From afar, he gave it a thumbs up for encouragement. The iron ball remained unchanged. It operated like a perpetual motion machine, killing whatever monsters appeared, no matter what they were. Its strategy was pure brute force. With a low hum, it charged in as golden light. Thud, thud, thud. Shockwaves bounced off cavern walls. The iron ball bounced through swarms of shadows, every impact bursting foes into dissipating white light. Shadows tried spawning clones, tried slipping into shadow stealth, tried swarming it. None worked. 130 attack against 800 defense was mathematically hopeless. Against such overwhelming defense, even first and second order monsters would stand no chance. Jiang Sun leaned against the cavern wall, legs stretched out, resting his head on top of the salt fish. The salt fish no longer reeked. It gave off a soft, milky seafood fragrance. He was not resting purely for comfort. By using it as a headrest, any monster emerging from shadows behind him would first hit the salt fish. Sacrificing summons to keep himself safe was the way to go. Besides, under this summoner system, summons were not truly dead as long as their summoner survived. If they fell in battle, Jiang Sun could recast his summoning spell to bring them back fully restored. That was practically the only mercy afforded to summoners in this world. Keep it up, Iron Ball. This is basically AFK farming. Hardly had the words left his mouth when a shadow dropped down from darkness on the rock wall above him. Its tentacle whistled toward him. Before it could strike, the salt fish reacted instantly. It bit down on the tentacle, heaved, and threw the shadow creature. Smooth and decisive. Before the fallen shadow could recover, the salt fish pummeled it with repeated heavy slaps. Still holding the tentacle in its jaws, it hammered the shadow's large eye with its tail. Having already expended shadow stealth, the monster could not escape. It was beaten until it dissolved. Jiang Sun laughed watching the comical scene. He checked his EXP pool. Universal EXP had shot from 6,700 all the way to 23,700. Over 10,000 more EXP earned in this single fight. A few more waves like this, and the salt fish will hit gold rank 2. Right after he spoke, the rift began shaking again. This batch of shadow creatures looked different. Each was noticeably larger, their vertical eyes doubled in size, and their bodies shimmered with a faint purple aura. Elite, Shadow Aggregate, Enhanced LV.4, HP, 2000, Attack Power, 180, Defense, 20, New Skill, Shadow Frenzy, boosts all attributes for 10 seconds. This thing can even get enhanced. Guanlon, you call the shots. The hidden event on the 4th floor was truly different, far more difficult. Previously, only elite monsters and bosses would spawn, and defeating them would wrap things up. But on this 4th floor, enhanced monsters had appeared, and no boss had shown up yet. With 180 attack power, it still could not breach Iron Ball's 800 defense, yet its strikes would hurt Salted Fish quite badly. Salted Fish had 80 defense. A 180-point attack would deal 100 damage. With a total of 1280 HP, it would fall after taking more than a dozen hits. Salted Fish, get back. Jiang Sun shoved it behind him. Iron Ball hovered for a moment, its golden runes glowing brighter, then shot forward like a stream of light. Boom. It crashed head on into the foremost enhanced aggregate. 2220, still a one-shot kill. Shockwaves rippled outward, sending several nearby enhanced aggregates flying. Yet something was different this time. They did not die. In past encounters, shadows struck by shockwaves would be instantly eliminated. Now the shockwaves failed to finish them off. It seemed all these monsters had activated their frenzy skill the moment they spawned. Their HP and defense had risen, but that was fine. If one shockwave was not enough, what about 2? Iron Ball wheeled around and charged again. The second monster went flying, then the third, then the fourth. It moved so fast the enhanced aggregates could not react before being slain one after another. But there were simply too many of them. Furthermore, these enhanced monsters used their split skill constantly. Every aggregate spawned 3 duplicates the moment it closed in. Under enhancement, each duplicate boasted 90 attack power, entangling Iron Ball and stretching its focus thin. Jiang Sun watched several duplicates slip past Iron Ball and charge straight toward him. Salted Fish. Salted Fish charged forward without hesitation. A precise slap landed squarely on the leading duplicate. 384. The duplicate only had 1,000 HP. This single blow stripped away a third of its health. Salted Fish lashed out 3 times in quick succession. The duplicate dissolved, and it wheeled toward the next target. Nice work. Jiang Sun could not help praising. You look like a lazy slacker normally, but you fight surprisingly well when push comes to shove. The experience pool jumped past 30,000. There was no time to waste. Salted Fish's promotion had to happen right away. Jiang Sun's mind drifted for a second. Back on the 3rd floor, he had grinded away an entire day just to earn a few tens of thousands of experience. Now one wave of monsters netted over 10,000. If outsiders among the profession holders knew about this, they would probably fly into a rage and tear the secret realm apart. Salted fish, golden quality, requires 25,000 universal experience points. Confirm infusion? Jiang Sun drew a breath and confirmed. Infusing 25,000 universal experience points, remaining 7,420 points. He hastily opened Salted Fish's status panel. Salted Fish, Golden 0, Order, LV.1, HP, 1200, Attack Power, 320, Defense, 120. Order, LV.1. HP, 1200. Attack Power, 320. Defense, 120. Skills, Salted Fish Slap, Basic Attack deals damage equal to 4.0 times base attack power. Attack Interval, 0.8s. Condensed Water Arrow Range Skill. Salted Fish inhales, compressing moisture from the air into a water arrow fired at the target, dealing damage equal to 4.0 times attack power. Cooldown once. HP, attack power, and defense had all improved drastically, though HP and defense still lagged far behind Iron Ball's values. Its attack power had actually surpassed Iron Ball's. Most exciting of all, promotion to Golden Quality had unlocked a ranged attack skill. It was only a single target skill, yet more than serviceable. Buffed by a 100% summon damage boost, its attack power climbed to 640. Factoring in skill multipliers, one water arrow hit for 2,560 damage. Hardly any monster at this stage could survive a single shot. From now on, Iron Ball would serve as the melee tank, and Salted Fish would act as the long-range artillery. A perfect pairing. Just as Jiang Sun was congratulating himself over Salted Fish's promotion, tremors emanated once more from the rift. Shake all you want. I wonder when you will finally stop. This tremor dwarfed all previous ones. The entire hall shuddered, and stone fragments clattered down from the walls. Jiang Sun stepped several paces back and pressed himself against the wall. Thicker black mist gushed out of the rift. Wrapped within the mist was a massive shadow, twice the size of ordinary aggregates. Elite Shadow Aggregate, Warlord LV.4, HP, 5,000, Attack Power, 250, Defense, 50. Whoa, it even has an aura buff. First enhanced monsters, and now a warlord. Jiang Sun had learned basic knowledge back at school. Within the game Guanlan, monsters of the same level were sorted into 5 tiers: Common, Elite, Chieftain, Lord, and Calamity. Chieftain and Lord rank foes could be marked as bosses by the system. Calamity rank entities never appeared at low levels. Every emergence brought massive casualties among profession holders and destroyed safe towns. This warlord had not been marked as a boss, likely due to its low level. Another possibility was that an even stronger foe waited further ahead. This hidden event was genuinely brutal. Even a full 9-man party would struggle against this foe's stats. Luckily for him, Jiang Sun was an outlier, commanding 2 golden grade summons. Even so, the threat was not insurmountable. With 5,000 HP, 2 well-placed water arrows from Salted Fish would nearly finish it off. Alongside the warlord poured at least 300 more shadow aggregates, forming a dense sea of monsters. Iron Ball hovered before him, utterly unshaken, as if the horde was trivial prey. All right, I know you are powerful. Go on then. Iron Ball charged forth. Unlike regular and enhanced elites, the warlord possessed considerable intelligence. Seeing Iron Ball bear down, it refused to take the hit head-on. Its body convulsed as it instantly split into 10 clones, while its true body vanished into shadow. Iron Ball plunged into the swarm of clones. Boom, boom, boom. A string of heavy impacts sent multiple clones flying. Yet there were far too many clones. 10 warlord clones plus 300-odd aggregates filled the entire hall with shadowy figures. Every single aggregate copied the warlord's tactic and activated their split skill. Now the hall was completely flooded with shadow entities. Salted Fish picked off targets one by one with precise water arrows. Iron Ball reveled in the dense horde. It needed no careful aiming, only to crash about. It bounced wildly across the chamber like a high-speed pinball. Streaks of golden light traced its rapid trajectories across the hall, creating a spectacular sight. Each impact caved in large swathes of darkness. Another strike crushed more shadowy foes. Splat! A water arrow pierced a shadowy figure. 2560, Salted Fish swiveled and fired another shot. Splat! 2560, another shot. Splat! 2560, 3 water arrows, 3 seconds, 3 shadows dissolved into white light. Salted Fish opened and closed its mouth, its tail flicking proudly, as if boasting. Look at me. No more charging in to slap foes up close. I have ranged attacks now. Jiang Sun smiled at its smug display. Fine, fine. You really have grown stronger. Salted Fish loosed yet another water arrow. Shadows were being cut down at frightening speed, and the dark mass visibly thinned. Watching its underlings get slaughtered without mercy, the warlord could endure no longer. It emerged from shadow. Iron Ball seized the opening and slammed into it. Boom. 2220. The warlord's health bar dropped sharply. It screeched, lashing out with countless tentacles toward Iron Ball. Smack, smack, smack. Its 250-point attacks could not pierce Iron Ball's 800 defense. Iron Ball followed with another heavy mountain strike. The warlord's HP plummeted from 5000 to 2780, then to 560. One more strike. Instant kill. The warlord let out a shrill wail before its form exploded apart. All its subordinate aggregates dissolved into white light and faded away. Killed Elite, Shadow Aggregate, Warlord, plus 1000 experience. Universal Experience Pool, 14620. 8000 experience for the Warlord. Not bad. The rift rumbled for the fifth wave. Will this ever end? Jiang Sun shook his head. He squeezed Salted Fish into a crevice between two boulders and tucked himself behind it. Bring it on. They cannot reach me anyway. My two summons handle all the fighting. More shadow creatures poured forth in this fifth wave than in the fourth, though without the warlord's aura buff. They were all elite, rank shadows. Iron Ball fought even faster, felling foes with single impacts while its shockwaves mowed down groups. Salted Fish floated in front of Jiang Sun, firing volley after volley of water arrows to eliminate any stragglers. Jiang Sun leaned against the rock wall, legs crossed, glancing occasionally at combat logs and watching the experience pool tick upward. A true summoner lets their summons do all the work while they relax. When the fifth wave ended, the experience pool hit 18120. The rift fell silent. The entire hall went quiet. Only Iron Ball's low hum and Salted Fish's constant splat of water arrows echoed. Silence stretched for roughly 10 seconds. Jiang Sun stepped out of his corner and brushed dust off his clothes. He walked to the center of the hall, where crystal fragments littered the ground. Some fragments came from the original Great Shattered Crystal, others dropped by slain enhanced elite monsters. Jiang Sun found it strange that certain crystal fragments had not been automatically sent to his backpack upon monster kills. Then he felt it. The ground beneath his feet began to shake once again. Scattered shadow fragments across the hall's center lit up one after another. Every shard glowed dimly, forming a sprawling pattern beneath his feet. The fragments lifted off the ground and hovered in mid-air. Drawn by some unseen force, they drifted toward the ceiling of the hall. All fragments converged, compressing into a fist-sized black sphere. It was living darkness, writhing and churning like a beating heart. As the dark entity manifested, the air plummeted in temperature. Jiang Sun's breath fogged in front of him. Detected complete convergence of shadow source. Boss E Wraith of Resentment descends. A twisted human face materialized within the mist. It mouthed a silent howl, releasing a low, hoarse roar that vibrated Jiang Sun's eardrums. The face held no fixed shape. Its features warped and reshaped endlessly, cycling through rage, grief, and venomous malice, as if countless faces fought to burst forth from within. Boss Wraith of Resentment, LV.5, HP, 8600, attack power, 315, defense, 77-50% physical damage reduction. Skills, Grasp of Resentment, binds target for 2 seconds, 40 damage per second, cooldown 12s. Terrifying Shriek, inflicts fear within 5-meter radius for 3 seconds. Feared targets cannot attack, cooldown 20s. Shadow Pulse, deals 600 damage within 8-meter radius, cooldown 15s. Jiang Sun stared at the line, 50% physical damage reduction, and fell silent for 2 seconds. Physical damage halved. Finally a foe with real staying power. Iron Ball's 560 attack multiplied by its heavy mountain strikes, 4.0 multiplier normally, dealt 2,220 damage. With the 50% reduction, that dropped to 1110. 8 strikes would be needed to deplete its 8,600 HP. They could still defeat it, yet the boss possessed 3 dangerous skills. Binds, Fear Effects, and Area of Effect attacks. Iron Ball could tank the damage with its 800 defense. Fear was the most troublesome mechanic. Feared targets lost the ability to attack, though the effect only lasted 3 seconds. Its 20-second cooldown created windows long enough for the 2 summons to burn down the boss. He glanced between Salted Fish and Iron Ball. Time for concentrated fire. Salted Fish would stay back, kept out of range of the boss's tentacles and abilities. Salted Fish opened and closed its mouth, as if saying, "Watch me. I will stay safe." The Wraith of Resentment gave him no extra time to plan. The black mist constricted, and countless tentacles lashed toward Jiang Sun's position. Iron Ball rushed forward to take the brunt, while Jiang Sun retreated. Salted Fish stayed put, firing water arrows non-stop. The moment Iron Ball closed in, the boss cast Grasp of Resentment. Black chains coiled around Iron Ball, locking it completely immobile. Fortunately, the bind only lasted 2 seconds. Once freed, Iron Ball rained heavy blows onto the boss. The Wraith of Resentment's health plummeted rapidly. Even with damage halved, the two summons dealt over 2,000 combined damage each second. Injured badly, the boss unleashed its skill. Terrifying Shriek, Fear duration, 1.5 seconds. Iron Ball and Salted Fish froze mid-air, robbed of their ability to attack. During those 1.5 seconds, countless tentacles lashed against both summons. Iron Ball took no meaningful damage. Its defense was too high. Salted Fish fared poorly, damage numbers floating above its head. It was reduced to near death instantly. As the fear effect wore off, Salted Fish darted away, narrowly escaping death. Enraged, Salted Fish evaded while firing water arrows, determined to get payback. The boss's HP kept falling. Its form suddenly shrank inward before violently expanding outward. A visible pulse blasted outwards from its body. Jiang Sun was knocked backward 2 steps. 550 damage popped over his head. Only the protection of his life source kept him from being instantly killed by this skill. His health regenerated rapidly thanks to life source's passive recovery. Nothing serious. Barely hurts. Jiang Sun commented, trying to sound unfazed. The Wraith of Resentment's health sat at 1390. One more heavy strike would finish it. Iron Ball unleashed another heavy mountain strike. Boom. The black mist was driven several meters backward. The face within twisted horribly. HP dropped to 280. Only one final blow remained. The Wraith of Resentment abruptly ceased all attacks. Its black mist churned violently. The face swelled wide, opening in a silent roar. Air across the hall was drawn toward its maw. This was clearly a finishing ultimate ability. No such skill was listed on its status panel. Could it be self-destruction? Jiang Sun mentally cursed his own bad premonition. It really was going to blow itself up. There was no time to think. He threw himself behind a boulder. Boom. The Wraith of Resentment detonated. 860 damage floated above Jiang Sun's head. Black, colored shockwaves swept across the whole hall. Cracks spiderwebbed across rock surfaces, and stone fragments flew everywhere. Jiang Sun lay flat on the ground, his ears ringing from the blast. He lifted his head. The hall was quiet. All monsters were gone, and the black mist had dispersed. Peace at last. Killed boss, Wraith of Resentment, plus 1,600 experience. Loot automatically added to backpack. Copper coins times 85, black, iron grade shadow cloak times 1. Jiang Sun checked the combat log. Finally another piece of dropped gear. Am I blessed by fate, or just absurdly lucky? 4 hidden events, for bosses, and only 2 pieces of equipment dropped. He opened his backpack. The shadow cloak rested quietly in one slot. Shadow cloak black, iron grade, defense plus 10, dodge rate plus 3%, equipment requirement, none. A black, iron cloak that even grants dodge chance. Jiang Sun equipped it right away, stowing his novice cloth robe away in the corner of his backpack. He checked his experience pool. 18120. Adding the boss's 1,600-point reward brought the total to 19720. Promoting Salted Fish to golden quality had cost 25,000 points, and now his experience stock was building back up. Deep within the hall, where the original black crystal had shattered, the ground split open to reveal a new fissure. Dim light seeped out from the crack. The path to the 5th floor had opened. Ding. Profession. Holder has cleared the 4th floor hidden event. Regional announcement incoming. Remain anonymous? Anonymous. Definitely anonymous. Jiang Sun replied to the system. 3 consecutive system announcements echoed in the minds of every profession holder across Qingmu City. The regional announcement played 3 times in a row. Jiang Sun had selected anonymity. Steady, secret growth was the smart play. Fame could wait. This world was far from peaceful behind its surface. Schemes and evil organizations lurked everywhere. Until he possessed absolute self-defense capability, Jiang Sun had no intention of drawing unwanted attention. Profession holders inside Qingmu City were thoroughly confused. Strange happenings these days. One person after another has triggered hidden events within the Novice Secret Realm. They'd even cleared all of them. The Novice Secret Realm was off. Limits to professionals above Tier 1. No one who entered could be higher than level 9. This was unprecedented. Everyone had always understood that this secret realm was a benefit provided by Guanlan for newly awakened users. No one had expected there to be hidden events, one on every single floor. Curiosity ran high among the onlookers. What reward came from clearing all these hidden events? Was it just extra experience points? That could not be right. Every hidden event in the world of Guanlan was extremely rare. Still, they could only guess. The exact rewards remained unknown to outsiders, since the person involved said nothing. As for Jiang Sun himself, he still had no idea what full completion of all hidden events would grant. He had only heard Uncle Ashing speak of a great opportunity. Since he was badly in need of experience anyway, he had set about grinding monsters. Jiang Sun closed his status panel and stared at the newly appeared upward passage. This had to be the path leading to the 5th floor. With his current strength and that of his 2 companions, level 5 ordinary wild monsters posed no real threat. Accompanied by the 2 little creatures, he strode boldly into the passage and stepped through the portal at its end. The moment he landed, Jiang Sun quickly scanned his surroundings. He stood on a stone path leading into a vast hall. On either side of the path yawned pitch black abysses. The hall was roughly 500 meters in diameter. Set in the center of the domed ceiling hung a huge glowing crystal that lit the entire space. The light was soft, nothing like the oppressive gloom of the 4th floor. Lying across the hall floor were countless creatures. Upon closer look, they were turtles of all sizes. Some were no bigger than basins, shuffling slowly across the ground. Others were as large as millstones, resting in small groups. Small turtles were everywhere, hundreds at a rough estimate. In the exact center of the hall lay the largest one of all. Its shell alone stretched 20 meters across. Its limbs were thick as stone pillars, covered in heavy stone armor overgrown with moss. Its eyes were closed as though it slept. Jiang Sun halted near the entrance and opened his status panel. Young Stone, Armored Turtle LV.4 HP, 400 ATK, 25 DF, 15 EXP, 40 Boss Stone, Armored Turtle LV.5 HP, 2000 ATK, 40 DF, 30 EXP, 300. Jiang Sun stared at the experience, point values, and fell silent for 2 seconds. 40? Only 40 universal experience points for a young turtle. He held up his fingers and did a quick mental calculation. To earn 30,000 universal experience points, he would need to slay 750 young stone, armored turtles. He glanced over the swarming horde filling the hall. Numbers were certainly not an issue. Jiang Sun had grown somewhat overconfident. 40 experience points from a level 4 mob was actually standard. He had simply grown accustomed to fighting elites, enhanced monsters and bosses on the previous floors. Normal, strength enemies felt strangely underwhelming in terms of universal experience gain. Still, every little bit helped. Iron Sphere, salted fish, time to work. Iron Sphere hummed, turned into golden light, and charged forward. Boom. It slammed straight into the densest cluster of turtles. Shockwaves exploded, wiping out a whole group in an instant. White light flashed in unison as more than a dozen young turtles vanished. Young Stone, Armored Turtle slain. EXP plus 40 system notifications flooded the screen. Salted Fish was hard at work too. Lacking area of effect skills, it could only pick off targets one by one with water arrows. Its experience gain lagged far behind Iron Spheres. It drew moisture from the air, forming a water arrow in an instant. Puffed. The arrow pierced a young turtle. 2560, one-shot kill. Salted Fish tilted its head, pleased with the result, and wagged its tail. It inhaled once more. Puffed. Another instant kill. Puffed. And another. Having found its new favorite pastime, Salted Fish kept firing shot after shot with a 1-second cooldown. After days of monster grinding, Jiang Sun wondered why summoned creatures cast abilities with no resource cost. Normally, a summoner would consume mana for their summoned skills. Yet these two followed some unknown mechanic. He shrugged and let the puzzle go. It was a welcome advantage anyway. He never needed to worry about his summons running out of resources. Iron Sphere charged through the turtle horde, while Salted Fish sniped from the rear. Their teamwork was seamless. Leaning against the shimmering stone frame of the portal, Jiang Sun watched his 2 companions perform. Not bad. Golden, rank Salted Fish really delivers. He checked his experience pool. Universal experience climbed rapidly. Though slower than farming elites on floor 4, progress was solid. His total rose from 19,720 to 33,720. That single wave netted 14,000 experience. At that moment, new young turtles began respawning across the hall. Floor 5 truly was an excellent farming spot. The confined space and high monster density meant no time wasted searching for enemies across vast maps. Foes practically delivered themselves. Moss on the walls flickered, and swarms of small turtles crawled up through cracks in the stone. Jiang Sun twitched his mouth. This respawn rate is a little ridiculous. Iron Sphere and Salted Fish coordinated even better. Iron Sphere crashed into groups and unleashed shockwaves to clear crowded zones. Salted Fish hovered at the perimeter, picking off stragglers. Each water arrow dealt 2,560 damage against 400 HP turtles, vastly overkilling every target. Salted Fish cared not. It simply enjoyed the satisfaction of one-shot kills, its tail swaying happily. When that second wave of turtles was wiped out, his experience pool jumped straight to 47720. 28,000 from this wave plus 14,000 from the first, for a total of 42,000 hard-earned experience. Now that he had plenty of experience, new thoughts stirred in Jiang Sun's mind. Should he invest in upgrades? What should he improve first? He used his universal talent ability to check the advancement requirements for Iron Sphere and Salted Fish. The numbers shocked him. Advancing either summon from Golden to Platinum required 100,000 universal experience points. 2 of them meant 200,000 total. He pushed the thought aside. That goal felt impossibly distant. Time to deal with the giant turtle in the center of the hall. Jiang Sun straightened and walked toward the still, sleeping boss. The massive stone, armored turtle had not stirred at all. Without its status readout, Jiang Sun would have mistaken it for a statue. Even after hundreds of its young were slaughtered, it remained motionless. Jiang Sun stopped 10 meters before it. Hey, wake up. Your posture's wrong. Go back to sleep properly. No response. Hey, all your descendants are getting killed. Aren't you going to do something? Still nothing. Is this turtle deaf? Iron Sphere flew over, showing no respect whatsoever. It blazed forward and smashed directly into the giant turtle's head. Boom. A dull thud rang out. The boss's head snapped backward. It had been instantly slain, passing on in its sleep. The instant the boss stone, armored turtle perished, the status panel popped up. All hidden events of Floors 1, 4th completed K. Count of ordinary monsters slain on Floor 5 meets requirements. Floor 5 hidden event activated seal broken. Native secret, realm creature descending. The corpse of the stone, armored turtle shook violently. Its shell exploded with a deafening crash. Shards sprayed in every direction. When the smoke cleared, an entirely different creature stood in its place. It loomed far larger than the stone, armored turtle. Clad in jet, black armor etched with earth, brown patterns, like a living boulder dug up from deep underground. Its limbs were twice as thick, claws digging deep into stone. Every breath rumbled like distant thunder. Its pupils, less eyes, glowed yellowish-brown. Boss Earth, armored dragon, turtle, native secret, realm creature LV.5 HP, 40,000 ATK, 300 DF, 100 skills, spike assault, stone spikes erupt from the ground, dealing 200 area damage. Cooldown, 6 seconds. Shell reflection, reflect 20% of incoming physical damage back to the attacker. Last 8 seconds. Cooldown, 15 seconds. Rampaging stomp, stomp the ground heavily, dealing 120 damage to all surrounding targets and inflicting 1 second stun. Cooldown, 12 seconds. Jiang Sun stared at the shell reflection description for 2 seconds. 20% damage reflection? Were these stats reasonable for a level 5 monster? Iron Sphere's attack was 560. With Mountain, Crush times 4.0 multiplier, it hit for 2240. 20% reflection equaled 448 damage per strike. Iron Sphere had 5,600 HP, so 448 was manageable. But the effect lasted 8 full seconds. If Iron Sphere kept attacking once per second for those 8 seconds, it would take 8 reflected hits totaling 3,584 damage. That was a huge chunk of its 5,600 health. Whoa, this thing makes Iron Sphere hurt itself. To make matters worse, the boss boasted 40,000 HP. 8 hits from Iron Sphere would not even bring its health halfway down. This would be tricky. He could only unleash attacks during Shell Reflection's cooldown window. Summoned creatures could be re-summoned after death. Yet Jiang Sun felt genuine attachment to the 2 companions he had nurtured. He hated seeing them perish. Iron Sphere hovered before him, pulsing steadily. Through their mental link, it sent a clear sentiment. Fight it. What's there to fear? Give it everything we've got. Jiang Sun sighed inwardly. Truly a headstrong, straightforward being. Fine, you're the tough one. Go ahead. Iron Sphere turned golden and charged. Boom. It slammed hard against the earth, armored dragon turtle. 1960. The boss's health bar dropped noticeably. Simultaneously, a damage number floated above Iron Sphere, 448. Its total HP barely budged. Knocked backward 2 paces, the dragon, turtle roared and lifted a forelimb to stomp. Rampaging stomp. Boom. Cracks spiderwebbed across the ground. Shockwaves rippled outward. Iron Sphere was pushed back and marked with a stun icon. Seizing its opening, the dragon, turtle's shell glowed green. The ground trembled as stone spikes burst upward. Spike assault. One spike erupted directly beneath Iron Sphere, failing to pierce its defenses. A second struck, again dealing 0 damage. A third followed, still no effect. Iron Sphere's health remained untouched. The stun wore off. Iron Sphere shook itself, indignant at being stunned even though it had taken no real harm. Its pride had been wounded, and it intended to retaliate. Without hesitation, it unleashed another mountain, crush strike. Boom. The dragon, turtle's health kept falling, while reflected damage steadily wore down Iron Sphere. Several seconds passed. Shell reflection finally faded. Jiang Sun immediately ordered salted fish to join the assault. He had kept salted fish held back earlier, afraid reflected damage would kill it. Under combined fire from both summons, the boss's health plummeted at over 2,000 damage each second. Yet their output was still insufficient. After another dozen seconds, shell reflection came off cooldown. Reflected damage reappeared on both summons. Jiang Sun commanded Iron Sphere to halt attacks and only circle the boss to keep it occupied. He mentally counted down the 8-second duration. Once it expired, they resumed their offensive. They repeated this cycle of hit and run twice more. At last, the Earth, armored dragon, turtle let out a deep roar and collapsed. Its massive weight smashed a crater into the hall floor. Earth, armored dragon, turtle slain. EXP plus 1000 secret, realm core has dropped. Pick it up. A secret, realm core. Jiang Sun remembered lectures at school. Whoever obtained this item gained ownership over the corresponding secret realm. It was a lifeline for the poor and a source of endless profit for the powerful. Unlike ordinary loot, this item could not be stored inside an inventory, likely due to its spatial properties. Jiang Sun looked at the smooth yellow crystal resting on the stone floor, faint golden light swirling deep within. He stepped forward and crouched down. The instant his hand touched the crystal, his panel refreshed. Detected secret, realm core, primordial secret realm, root of first sprout. Bind this secret realm? Upon binding, you will become the sole owner of root of first sprout. If I bind this, will the public novice secret realm of Qingmu City disappear? Should I bind it or not? Need advice quickly. Jiang Sun stared frozen at the system prompt. Detected secret, realm core, primordial secret realm, root of first sprout. Bind this secret realm? Upon binding, you will become the sole owner of root of first sprout. A primordial secret realm? He had never heard that term before. According to his school lessons, binding a secret realm core granted ownership. Yet this was labeled primordial secret realm, distinct from the public novice secret realm first sprout he was currently inside. His mind raced. What if binding it erased Qingmu City's shared novice secret realm? That realm was vital for every newly awakened novice. If he broke it, official authorities might intervene, and countless new players would direct all their anger toward him. On the other hand, Uncle Ashing had promised a great reward for completing every hidden event. Iron Sphere and Salted Fish needed 100,000 universal experience each to advance to Platinum, 200,000 total. He only possessed 47,000 right now. Universal experience was in constant demand for leveling himself, enhancing gear, upgrading skills, practicing cultivation arts, and breaking through tier barriers. The world of Guanlan involved far more than simple monster grinding. Cultivation arts were mandatory for higher tier advancement. This secret realm core had to be the great opportunity Uncle Ashing had spoken of. Should he take it? Jiang Sun sucked in a breath through his teeth. I'll do it. At worst, new awakeners would complain, but nobody would trace it back to him. For a transmigrator, turning down such an enormous opportunity was unthinkable. He could plant spirit plants, raise livestock, generate steady streams of resources and wealth within his very own secret realm. No more hesitation. He confirmed the binding. Binding confirmed. Ownership transfer for primordial secret realm, root of first sprout. In progress, all hidden completion conditions satisfied. Transfer complete. The yellow crystal grew warm in his palm, then burst with bright golden, yellow light. Gentle heat flowed up his arm, into his chest, and finally settled in his left palm. When the radiance faded, the crystal was gone. Jiang Sun opened his left hand. A faint golden root, shaped pattern marked his palm. Its roots seemed to anchor deep toward his heart, while delicate branching patterns glowed softly on his skin. Fresh system notifications appeared. Primordial Secret Realm Root of First Sprout bound. This secret realm exists independently of public instance listings and will not conflict with Qingmu City's secret realm catalog. Binding irreversible. Jiang Sun froze for a moment. Independent of the public dungeon sequence? That meant he hadn't seized the first Sprout's secret realm for himself. He quickly pulled up the secret realm list for Azurewood City and took a look. The first Sprout's secret realm was still there. What a relief. Jiang Sun let out a long breath. Good thing I didn't take it from others. Before he could catch his breath, another system prompt popped up on his interface. System announcement about to trigger. Do you wish to remain anonymous? Anonymous. Absolutely anonymous. Hide one's traces, conceal one's edge, let no man know whence I come. He had even started quoting classical prose. Regional announcement. All hidden conditions for the first Sprout's secret realm of Azurewood City have been fulfilled. The first Sprout's secret realm is undergoing phased evolution. Structural expansion. 5 floors, 8 floors. New floors added. Molten Fire Corridor Floor 6. Wind. Singing Tower Floor 7. Observation Trial Hall Floor 8. Defeating the Floor 8 boss yields a chance to obtain a first Order Barrier, Breaking Talisman. The first Order Barrier, Breaking Talisman is an auxiliary breakthrough item. Upon use, it reduces the difficulty of first Order breakthrough quests. May all professional thrive in battle. Jiang Sun stared at the announcement, mouth hanging slightly open. Wow. Not only had he gained immense benefits for himself, he had also brought blessings to the entire Azurewood City. After he bound the primeval secret realm, Guanlon had upgraded the public secret realm. 3 extra floors, plus breakthrough, assist items. The new professional practitioners of Azurewood City would be greatly benefited from now on. This applied not only to new arrivals. Combat-oriented and life-oriented practitioners stuck before the first Order threshold would now have another shot at breaking through. Many people had been trapped below first Order before. Breakthrough quests were brutally hard, and monsters in safe surface towns were overwhelmingly powerful. They could not advance further. Now they could level all the way to level 9 within this beginner-friendly secret realm. On top of that, it dropped breakthrough 8 items. Most importantly, this beginner secret realm featured a death teleport mechanism. What was there to fear? They could go all out. Dying out on the surface meant real death. Inside this secret realm, people could afford to take risks. Uncle Ashing had said completing all hidden events would grant a great karmic opportunity. Jiang Sun had never imagined the rewards would be so substantial. If he had not deliberately stayed at level 1 endlessly farming the same monster for universal experience points, he would never have triggered this change. Normal new teams would level up and move on to higher floors to fight more rewarding monsters. Nobody else would linger on the first floor to grind resources non-stop like him. Still, this gave Jiang Sun a valuable lesson. In future secret realm runs, he ought to try unconventional actions to see if he could unlock hidden events. Jiang Sun spread open his left palm and gazed at the golden runes etched there. Primeval secret realm, let me see exactly how vast you are. As he channeled his mind into the mark, he sensed a space connected to his consciousness. He could enter or open a light portal purely through willpower. There were 2 ways to access the realm. For himself, a single thought would carry him inside without needing a portal. He could also retrieve items by thought. If he wanted others to enter, he could conjure a teleportation light portal before him for others to pass through. Since no one else was around, he decided to summon one to test it out. Aloham echoed. A portal materialized out of thin air before Jiang Sun, its edges shimmering with pale golden light. Pale purple mist swirled within its frame. Jiang Sun took a deep breath and stepped through. Beyond the portal stretched a vast plain. The sky was bright, blue, dotted with a few white clouds. Yet strangely, there was no sun. Soft, even light bathed the whole space, as bright as broad daylight. High wild grasses carpeted the plain. Wind swept across, sending rolling waves rippling through the foliage. Far away, a winding stream gurgled along its course. The air smelled of damp earth and fresh grass. Wow! Jiang Sun looked around, stunned. He stood atop a small stone platform beside an old, but structurally intact wooden hut. The thatched roof had faded with time. Near the hut stood a stone, lined well. Jiang Sun walked over and peered down. Clear water reflected his handsome features. Admittedly, he still looked pretty good. A tiny moment of vanity crossed his mind. He cupped a handful of well water and drank. Cold and sweet. The coolness flowed down his throat, refreshing him completely. A system panel popped up. Yuan, Energy Well, produces spring water rich in primordial energy. One sip restores 50 health points and 20 mana points. Repeated excessive drinking reduces its restorative effect. Jiang Sun's eyes lit up. What a treasure. This will save me tons of recovery supplies. From now on, he only needed a water flask. He could take a sip whenever he needed restoration. He stood and surveyed the far-reaching plain. This place was enormous, many times larger than the first floor of the public Sprout's secret realm. Behind the hut rose a spiral staircase. At its end hung a teleportation portal. Did this primeval version of the secret realm also have 5 floors? Jiang Sun shook water off his hands. I'll take a tour and explore first. He spent more than half an hour traversing all 5 floors. The more he saw, the more astonished he grew, and a grin kept tugging at his lips. The first floor was a broad, fertile plain with soft black soil. Streams wound across the land, making it a natural farmland. The second floor held dense towering forests. Small creatures darted among the trees. Deep within stood a ruined stone beast pen. Though dilapidated, its frame remained intact and could be repaired for use. The third floor was a winding stream valley, its current swifter and deeper than that on the first floor, ending in a small waterfall. Shaded ferns and moss covered the rocky valley walls, and the air hummed with damp plant-scented breath. The fourth floor was a sprawling network of caves. Exposed or veins of iron and copper jutted from the rock walls, alongside glimmering veins of silvery ore. Iron and copper saw wide application, needed for low-grade gear and refined for high-grade equipment as well. Jiang Sun had no idea what that silvery ore might be. The fifth floor was a massive domed hall. Circular, over 1,000 meters across, far bigger than the public version's 5th floor. At the dome's center was a crystal, the core control hub for the entire primeval secret realm. Beneath the crystal stood a waist-high dark, greenstone steel carved with 2 characters, Gather Yuan. Fine dense patterns covered its surface. Simply standing nearby filled one's mind with clarity. Jiang Sun lingered before the steel. He could feel his inner vital energy circulating far more smoothly. Could this aid cultivation? When his fingers brushed the steel, system information unfolded. Gather Yuan steel draws in loose primordial energy to raise energy concentration on the 5th floor. Practicing here grants a 70% boost to cultivation speed for first-order practitioners. The amplification diminishes as one's rank rises. Whoa, truly amazing. So it really does boost cultivation. From the hall's edge, he gazed outward. For luminous bubbles floated in the void, each showing scenes from the 4 lower floors. When he laid his hand on the central crystal, a holographic map unfolded before him. It displayed the full 3-dimensional layout of all 5 floors, resource distributions, and even real-time monster positions, laid bare in full detail. Standing in the domed 5th floor hall, Jiang Sun stared at the sight, his head spinning. I've struck it rich. Truly struck it rich. A complete private secret realm. 5 whole floors. Farmable land, space for animal husbandry, mining grounds, and a place to cultivate. Plus a well-producing spirit, infused spring water every day. This was far more than a secret realm. It was his personal domain. No wonder Uncle Ashen called this a great karmic opportunity, Jiang Sun murmured. Other people's secret realms were good only for planting or only for mining. His had everything. Uncle Ashing had spoken nothing but truth. He exited the primeval secret realm and returned to the public realm 5th floor domed hall. The armored dragon turtle's corpse had vanished after its refresh. The hall stood empty, save for himself. He had cleared all 5 floors and obtained the primeval secret realm. Time to go find Uncle Ashing. Besides, it had been days since he tapped his younger sister Jiang Xiaoxiao on the head. His fingers were itching to do it again. He passed through the 5th floor portal and descended toward the 2nd floor. Uncle Ashing still lay beneath the old locust tree, holding half a crab claw and humming an unknown tune. Seeing Jiang Sun emerge from the passage, he lazily lifted his eyelids. Yo, you're back? Judging by your look, you succeeded? Jiang Sun broke into a grin, sat down beside him, and held out his left hand. The golden runes on his palm glowed faintly in the firelight. I made it. Uncle Ashing studied the markings for a long while, then nodded. The primeval secret realm, I never thought you would actually obtain it. Uncle Ashing, did you know about this place all along? I guess something like it might exist, but I could not be certain. Uncle Ashing bit into crab meat and chewed. Before Sprout became a public secret realm, no one knew who owned it. Yet secret realms do not simply pop out of nowhere. Each one is a fragment of a shattered world or a preserved moment in time. Guanlon preserves them, whether to honor history or remember lost races. Would Guanlon really be that benevolent? Who can say? Uncle Ashing smiled. Am I not also a remnant from a shattered world? I do not know why I have persisted for so long, nor how much time has actually passed. Jiang Sun thought about it. He decided not to dwell on puzzles too heavy for his limited brain capacity. Uncle Ashing tossed crab bones into the bonfire and clapped his hands clean. Very well. You have cleared the secret realm and claimed your great opportunity. Make good use of your secret realm. It will serve as a powerful foundation for your future growth as a strong practitioner. Jiang Sun sat cross-legged, staring at the bonfire in deep thought. Truly, the first, Sprout Root secret realm gave him enormous advantages for future development. It's time for me to head back. I've been inside for several days. Mom will be worried. That is true. Your mother raised you and your sister all by herself. It has not been easy. Jiang Sun turned to Uncle Ashing. I plan to develop in the surface towns later. Uncle Ashing nodded without replying. He was little more than a phantom, uncertain even of his own existence. By the way, Uncle Ashing, have you heard of the Void Spirit Tower? Uncle Ashing's eyes narrowed. I know of it. An inter-race arena for ranked battles. Back when my world still existed, the Void Spirit Tower also appeared after Guanlon descended. I once reached gold tier at rank 8. Why? Are you thinking of challenging it? I've heard talk. It sounds interesting, and I've long coveted the skills obtainable there. Interesting. Uncle Ashing let out a short laugh. It is far more than merely interesting. Though deaths within the tower are illusory, the pain is completely real. Once you feel a wolf claw crush your skull, you will never forget it. Jiang Sun blinked in surprise. You fought there? Uncle Ashing gave no direct answer, merely smiled and held his hands out toward the fire for warmth. I fought a few matches in my youth, lost far more than I won. Later, as my world neared its end, I no longer had time for such contests. A hint of regret lingered in his tone. Naturally, how could a man whose whole world had shattered not carry regrets? Jiang Sun watched his expression. He suspected the old man was holding back the full truth. Still, he chose not to press further. There was no need to reopen old wounds. It occurred to him that his barbecue-related hidden event trigger had drawn this old man out in the first place. If he left, and the secret realm reset next time, would he still see Uncle Ashing? Their bond was shallow, yet they had shared several pleasant barbecue sessions. The thought of never seeing this scruffy old man again left him feeling hollow. He stood up and brushed dust off his trousers. Uncle Ashing, come with me. Step outside this secret realm and see my world. Uncle Ashing fell silent. His gaze drifted toward the old locust tree, distant and far-reaching. Firelight painted half his wrinkled face in brightness, half in shadow. After a long pause, he shook his head. I will not go. This is my home. What would I do out there? I no longer have the spirit for new journeys. Guarding this fragment of my old land suits me fine. He grinned, several teeth missing, his smile bright in the dancing flames. But when the secret realm resets, will you still be here for me to meet? Uncle Ashing paused. I cannot say for certain. I have no control over which fragment of the secret realm I manifest within. Jiang Sun hesitated for 2 seconds and tried another suggestion. What if you come to my secret realm? That is the true primeval origin. Logically, that ought to be your real home. Jiang Sun was practically trying to persuade the old man to move. It is not impossible. I will go through and test whether I can enter. Eagerly, Jiang Sun opened the teleportation portal to the first, Sprout Root secret realm for both of them. He stared expectantly at Uncle Ashing. Hurry on in. Uncle Ashing stepped through the portal without hesitation. Seeing no system, enforced block barring him, Jiang Sun heaved a huge sigh of relief. Primeval secret realm detected. Native spirit entity has entered. The spirit has automatically signed a servant contract with the secret realm lord. Servant contract, eternal loyalty. The spirit may never harm the secret realm lord. With the arrival of a native spirit entity, the secret realm has undergone partial alienation and gained a sliver of potential for evolution. Jiang Sun's grin stretched almost to his ears. He had only hoped to bring the old man along, yet unexpected rewards had followed. Stepping through the portal, he found Uncle Ashing standing beside the small wooden hut, gazing fixedly at it, lost in remembrance and quiet sorrow. Uncle Ashing, how is it? Doesn't this place suit you far better? Far more than suits. This very hut was once my home. So the old man had truly returned home. Uncle Ashing, why not settle here permanently? I will build you a grand luxurious villa. In return, you help me manage this secret realm. Uncle Ashing turned and shot him an exasperated look. I could not leave even if I wished to. That servant contract cannot be revoked. The system must have informed him as well. Jiang Sun felt thoroughly reassured. Now Uncle Ashing could not run away. Getting the secret realm operational would demand countless tedious tasks. Growing spirit rice required farmers. Animal husbandry needed specialists. Mining demanded skilled miners, a highly sought-after profession. On top of that, someone had to guard the realm and clear monsters that occasionally slipped through void rifts. So many troubles. He just wanted to lie low and relax. Yet responsibilities kept piling up. Jiang Sun frowned, troubled. Uncle Ashing had already begun tidying the run down hut. Watching him set to work of his own accord, Jiang Sun prepared to depart. Uncle Ashing, I will leave behind some tableware and ingredients I have on hand for you to use. I'm heading out to check on my family. Uncle Ashing did not look up. Next time you come, bring more seasonings and daily supplies. After signing the contract, I am no longer purely an ethereal spirit, and I have actual material needs now. Jiang Sun rummaged through his backpack and pulled out several items. Here are chili powder, cumin, sesame paste. Make do with these for now. Uncle Ashing's eyes lit up at the sight of those jars and pouches. Good lad, you know what I need. Jiang Sun smiled and stood. I'm off then. Go on. Uncle Ashing waved, then called out before Jiang Sun could leave. Pay proper attention to getting this secret realm running. I can only assist with overall coordination. I cannot handle planting, animal raising, or mining myself. He paused. It would be far too wasteful to let such a vast, secret realm sit empty. I get it. I will start making preparations as soon as I leave. I will count on you to oversee things here. Jiang Sun turned toward the exit. Before stepping into the passage, he glanced back. Uncle Ashing carefully cleaned the old wooden hut, intent on restoring it to how it had once looked in his memories. Jiang Sun smiled. He stepped into the portal. Brilliant light stung his eyes. He squinted, adjusting his vision, and found himself standing on the entrance plaza of the first Sprout secret realm. Crowds bustled all around. Teams headed inward, others came out. Some squatted by the gate calling for party members, while clusters of people chatted and discussed various topics. Far more people gathered here than before. Thanks to the advancement of the secret realm, everyone who could come has flocked here for the fun. New player secret realm, 8-man team, 2 spots open. Need tank and healer. Clearing floor 6, short-handed. Don't go, buddy. I just came out of floor 6. The monsters in the Molten Corridor have absurdly high health. Don't go looking for pain without good gear. Whoa, this upgraded secret realm is insane. Monsters on floor 6 give half more experience than those on floor 5. Jiang Sun pulled his hood down low and was about to walk through the crowd. Chatter from several people nearby drifted into his ears. Hey, have you heard? Blackrock Town is hiring people lately. Hiring for what? The Rockwatch Guard found a new wild hunting ground around Blackrock Town. Monster density is high, but the terrain is tricky. They need hands to clear it out. The pay is good, calculated by the number of monsters killed. Then I'm going too. I've got nothing going on these days. Forget it. At your level, you just get yourself killed. Word is elite monsters spawn in that hunting ground. Jiang Sun's footsteps paused. Blackrock Town. It was one of the ground safe zones under the jurisdiction of Azurewood City. When the game world first descended, humanity had not yet conquered the floating giant cities, and everyone scraped by for survival in these ground-safe zones. Back then, humanity's survival was extremely precarious. The human population plummeted from an initial 78 billion down to several billion. As mankind seized one floating giant city after another, living conditions gradually improved. This was all thanks to the predecessors of humanity. Generation after generation perished, yet they fought on unyieldingly. Their struggles allowed modern humans to live and multiply in relative safety within the giant cities. 300 years after the game descended, the human population steadily rebounded to around 15 billion. Monsters in ground towns were all at minimum level 10. Elite, Chieftain, Lord, and Overlord. Rank monsters would spawn out in the wild every now and then. Occasionally, monsters would even launch sieges against safe towns organized by their chieftains. It was frustrating, but thanks to the growing number of combat profession users, many ground-safe towns managed to hold their ground. Still, Jiang Sun would sometimes see news reports of safe towns falling to monster assaults. In the 300 years since the game's arrival, humanity had established more than 150,000 ground-safe towns. Ground-safe towns fell into 3 categories. The first were frontline towns facing direct monster hordes, making up roughly 60% of the total, the largest group. The second were resource towns with special resources, comparatively few at about 20%. The third were logistical safe towns, supplying resources and offering short-term rest for frontline and resource towns, also around 20%. Each town answered to higher-level main cities. Satellite cities surrounding main cities existed solely for human residence and reproduction. Azurewood City alone governed over 500 ground-safe towns. Ground-safe towns also had their own ranking system, graded from low to high. D, C, B, A, and the highest S rank. D, rank safe zones. The lowest tier, mostly spawned Tier 1 and Tier 2 wild monsters in their wilderness, though high-level monsters might occasionally wander in from other regions. These were the best spots for new arrivals to level up by hunting monsters on the ground. The world of Viewpoint was cunning. Some might ask, with floating giant cities, why bother with ground-safe towns at all? Why not simply have everyone live inside the floating cities? That was not feasible. Floating giant cities relied entirely on secret realm yields, and secret realms were scarce. Furthermore, if a floating giant city controlled fewer safe zones, its overall scale would shrink, reducing habitable space for humans. This was Viewpoint's core mechanic. Comfortable, unchallenged development was not an option. The size and carrying capacity of every floating giant city were directly tied to the ground safe zones under its control. Town 10086, Blackrock Town, was one of those 500-plus ground safe towns under Azurewood City. A new wild hunting ground. He committed the information to memory and kept walking forward. A crowd had gathered around the notice board at the edge of the square. He squeezed over for a glance. It was a fresh notice posted by the Spirit Pivot Pavilion, reporting performance records from the Void Spirit Tower. Void Spirit Tower, Human Faction Rankings Weekly Tier Statistics, Azurewood City Division. Professionals above Gold Tier, 667. Professionals above Platinum Tier, 68. Professionals above Epic Tier, 9. Jiang Sun knew of the Void Spirit Tower. It seemed Viewpoint thought constant monster combat, with no revival mechanism, was too brutal. Thus this platform was created, open to all professionals, where they could fight one another. Death inside bore no real-world consequences, and Viewpoint even encouraged fighters to push each other to their limits. The battle rules made that clear. Victory was only granted when one side perished. The rules alone told you this system was harsh. Yet that was how Viewpoint defined it. You could choose not to participate, but once you joined, one side had to fall. Perhaps it was meant to temper the willpower of professionals. Thinking back on those rules, Jiang Sun could only scoff. It was clearly Viewpoint's brutal design preference. You fall, then you get revived again. Whenever the topic came up, even his homeroom teacher's stern face would twitch, as if recalling some unpleasant memory. Jiang Sun stared at the notice. Azurewood City was nothing special. Only 9 people had reached Epic Tier, and higher tiers went unlisted. Apparently no local contenders qualified. Just wait. Once I develop further, I'll shock everyone and bring honor to the city. He lingered no longer. He craved the meal his mother had cooked and threaded through the crowd toward the western district of Azurewood City, toward home. The golden pattern on the palm of his left hand glowed faintly beneath his sleeve. He hailed a summoner, operated ride share. This time the driver showed no curiosity about what his summoned beast was. Somehow that left Jiang Sun feeling a little odd. Seated in the vehicle, he sorted out his plans for what lay ahead. His trip to the budding secret realm had transformed him completely. First, he needed to make good use of his newly acquired secret realm. Yet he dared not reveal that he had triggered its hidden event. He was stuck in a dilemma. He pushed the problem aside for the moment. Tomorrow he would return to the budding secret realm. His priorities were leveling himself up and clearing the 3 new additional floors. He badly wanted a Tier 1 barrier, breaking talisman. These talismans would surely fetch an astronomical price now that they had appeared. If he could obtain a few, selling them would earn him a fortune. Once his level rose, he would challenge the Void Spirit Tower. Its exclusive skill, Void Spirit Step, was exactly what Jiang Sun dreamed of acquiring. The moment he pushed open his front door, the familiar aroma of home-cooked food washed over him. Jiang Sun stood in the entryway and took a deep breath. Definitely his mother's cooking. Warm yellow light filled the living room. The television played some variety show. A half-plate of cut fruit sat on the coffee table, beside 2 pairs of chopsticks. From the kitchen came the clink of a spatula against the wok and the crackle of hot oil. "Mom, I'm home." The stir-frying noises stopped. His mother poked her head out from the kitchen, wearing a faded apron and still holding her spatula. Relief crossed her face the instant she saw him, quickly followed by a frown. "So you remember to come back?" Her tone sounded sharp, yet underlying it was unmistakable concern. "You spent days inside a secret realm without sending a single message. Do you know how worried I was?" Jiang Sun slipped off his shoes and walked to the kitchen doorway. I was focused on fighting monsters and lost track of time. And look, I came back safe and sound. His mother looked him up and down. His complexion was good, no wounds marked his body, and his clothes were neat and clean. Far from looking gaunt, he had even put on a little weight. The clean-faced 18-19-year-old boy had gained a touch of baby fat. That was what came of eating well and sleeping plenty inside the secret realm. His clothes showed no bloodstains or signs of hard combat. His mother felt confused. Did you go on vacation inside the secret realm? Not exactly. That's the advantage of being a summoner. The summoned beasts handle all the fighting. The summoner just cheers them on. You never take anything seriously, even at your age. His mother huffed and turned back to her walk. Wash your hands for dinner. Only the last soup is left. Jiang Sun acknowledged her and walked toward the living room. A small figure curled up on the sofa, absorbed in her phone, its screen flickering with bright colors. Hearing footsteps, she did not lift her head, mumbling lazily. Well, look who's home, the great summoner. Her tone was flippant and teasing. This kid was getting bolder by the day. He needed to re-establish his authority as an older brother. He flicked her forehead with his finger. There. That felt satisfying. It had been too long since he'd done that. Familiar pressure, familiar sound. Pure comfort. Ouch. What was that for, you jerk? Mom. Brother flicked me again. His mother was busy cooking, the noise in the kitchen drowning out her complaint. She paid no attention. Jiang Sun plopped down beside her, the sofa sinking under his weight. What are you so absorbed in? None of your business. Jiang Xiao rolled her eyes, hugging her phone to her chest, then looked up at him, her eyes darting about. You were in the secret realm for days, right? How many levels did you gain? Jiang Sun kept his expression neutral. 0. Jiang Zhao's eyes lit up. She looked ready to gloat. I knew it. I just knew it. She sat bolt upright cross-legged on the sofa, pointing a finger at him. What can a summoner even do? Your starting summoned beast must be bad. It won't listen to you, right? You can't kill monsters, can you? She kept talking rapidly. My classmates say summoners are the worst class. Your starting summoned beast depends entirely on luck. Early, game summoned beasts are weak. You just have to hide and hope monsters don't hit you. Going into a secret realm is nothing but suffering. Jiang Sun's mouth twitched. Your classmates don't know what they're talking about. Oh yeah? Then tell me how many levels you leveled. 0. There you go. Jiang Xiao slapped her thigh, grinning like a mischievous fox. It's fine, brother. No shame in it. Your aptitude was never great. Being a summoner is okay. You can find a steady ordinary job. If worst comes to worst, I'll earn money to support you. Jiang Sun stared at her smug little face and held back for 2 seconds. Then he flicked her forehead sharply once more. Snap. Ow. Jiang Xiao clapped a hand to her forehead and drew back, eyes wide open. Why did you do that? Quit running your mouth. I'm telling the truth. Mom. His mother's voice drifted out of the kitchen. Xiao, stop teasing your brother. I'm not teasing. I'm being honest. Jiang Sun leaned back against the sofa, unable to suppress a smile. His sister talked tough, yet he saw right through her. She was testing him. She feared he had suffered setbacks in the secret realm, feared he would think summoners had no future, feared his spirits would break. By teasing him in that annoying way, she forced him to push back. That way, even if he truly had accomplished nothing, he could still save face. The girl was surprisingly perceptive, just too sharp-tongued. At the dinner table, his mother piled meat repeatedly onto his bowl until it overflowed. Eat more. You couldn't have eaten well inside the secret realm. Did you hear the budding secret realm has been upgraded? His mother ladled soup for him. Notices went up. Word says someone triggered a hidden event, expanding it from 5 floors to 8. Everyone out there is guessing who it was. Jiang Sun kept his head down and ate, his face betraying nothing. Really? That person must be impressive. His mother glanced at him, afraid he might feel discouraged, and dropped the subject. Jiang Xiao bit into a chicken leg and mumbled her input. It must be some big shot leading a team. Definitely not you, brother. Jiang Sun stuffed a piece of meat into her mouth. Just eat. Jiang Xiao made muffled noises, glared at him, and focused on her chicken leg. Through the window stretched Azurewood City's night view. Distant high, rises glowed with warm light. Countless households lit up. Every family faced its own hardships, yet everyone struggled to carry on. Farther away, light streaked across the teleportation square as teleporter rays activated through the night, ferrying people back and forth between the ground and floating city. Trapped within Viewpoint's rigid rules, no one could live entirely free of peril. The golden pattern on his left palm grew faintly warm beneath his sleeve. A quiet reminder. He still had a secret realm to tend to. After dinner, he helped his mother clear the table and took a shower. Lying down on his small bed, Jiang Sun truly felt he was home. Though the secret realm had offered comfortable places to rest, nothing compared to his own bed. Perhaps it was the surroundings, perhaps simply the absence of his family. Early the next morning, Jiang Sun headed out. His goal was clear the 3 new floors of the budding secret realm. The secret realm square was even more crowded than the day before. Groups clustered around the notice board. Some discussed strategies for floor 6, others shouted for teammates. A burly iron, fortress-class warrior boomed about how tough and damaging floor 6 monsters were. Jiang Sun pulled his hood low and headed straight for the entrance. He needed no team. He would go solo. He was perfectly capable of defeating the new floor monsters. With golden, rank-summoned beasts Iron Sphere and Salted Fish, clearing floors 6 to 8 would be trivial. He entered the secret realm and spawned directly on floor 5. After clearing floor 5, its exit had transformed into a passage leading toward floor 6. A spiraling upward stone staircase stood at the passage's end, dim crimson light spilling from above. The air grew noticeably hotter. Floor 6 molten corridor. Jiang Sun stepped onto the final stair and passed through the portal. The sight ahead made him narrow his eyes. A long corridor lined with lava, embedded wall lamps. Cracks split the floor, glowing dark red, as if magma might burst forth at any moment. The air was dry and sweltering, making his throat burn with every breath. Lava lizards roamed the corridor. Slightly smaller than the stone, skin lizards of floor 4, they bore dark, red scales, thin wisps of black smoke curling out from between them. Jiang Sun checked their status panel. Lava lizard, level 6, roughly 800 health points. He summoned Iron Sphere. Clear the area. Iron Sphere hummed, shooting forward as a stream of dark, gold light. Boom. The first lava lizard went flying. A combat log popped up. Iron Sphere defeats Lava Lizard LV.6, experience plus 80. Instant kill. Iron Sphere's Earth, shattering strike dealt 2240 damage, more than tripling the monster's health. Iron Sphere weaved through the corridor, streaks of golden light cutting through the crimson gloom. Each heavy thud sent a lizard crashing into a wall before vanishing in white light. In less than 2 minutes, the entire floor was cleared. Jiang Sun checked his experience gain. 30. Odd monsters granted close to 3,000 experience points. Not huge, but extremely efficient. He passed through the exit to floor 7, Windhall Tower. This floor was completely different. Inside stood a tall tower with spiral stone steps winding around its hollow center. Wind howled down from the tower's apex. The monsters were wind falcons, ash, gray eagle, like creatures whose wing edges shimmered with pale, green wind blades. They moved fast and attacked from range. Level 7, lower health around 600 points. That made no difference to Iron Sphere. Golden flashes brought the falcons tumbling from the sky. Salted Fish joined in this time. Its condensed water arrows were perfect for aerial targets. Salted Fish opened its mouth and loosed a water arrow, striking a circling Wind Falcon cleanly. Salted Fish defeats Wind Falcon LV.7, experience plus 90. Water attacks had an elemental advantage against wind affinity monsters, dealing more damage than base stats suggested. Jiang Sun stroked his chin, noting the elemental counter effect. But now was not the time for analysis. Once floor 7 was cleared, he tallied his gains. Combined with floor 6, total experience topped 5,000. Universal experience pool, 47,725 to 780. Decent accumulation speed, though nowhere near what I earned fighting the hidden event monsters. The final floor, Viewpoint Trial Hall. Its entrance was a massive stone gate carved with intricate patterns, resembling the gateway to an ancient arena. Jiang Sun pushed against it. It would not budge. He pushed harder. Still completely immovable. Salted Fish floated over and butted its head against the gate with no result. Iron Sphere slammed into it with a thunderous crash. The gate boomed, yet remained shut. What's going on? Am I missing some trigger condition? As Jiang Sun pondered, he spotted a waist, high round stone pillar to the left of the gate, set with a diamond-shaped crystal. Jiang Sun stepped forward and touched the crystal. A panel popped up with a notification. Observation Trial Hall, Solo Challenge Mode Condition. Defend Guardian, Lava Turtle LV.8, Elite Note. After defeating the Guardian, open the treasure chest to claim clearance rewards Initiate Challenge. So that was how it worked. He had to touch this crystal and choose whether to start the trial. The 2 little companions and their silly master had wasted ages pushing uselessly at the gate. Jiang Sun read the prompt carefully and understood. On this floor, there were no minor monsters to fight, only a direct boss battle. No wonder the stone gate wouldn't budge when they shoved it. If Jiang Xiaoxiao were here, she would definitely laugh her foolish elder brother silly. He selected to initiate the challenge. The stone gate slowly rumbled open. Beyond it lay a circular hall with a soaring domed ceiling. A ring of luminous crystals embedded in the walls flooded the space with brilliant light, bright as day. At the center of the hall rested a massive turtle, the lava turtle. It was slightly smaller than the armored earth turtle from the 5th floor. Its carapace was dark crimson. Molten liquid resembling magma trickled from the cracks between its shell plates. Its 4 thick limbs pressed against the stone floor, heating the slabs beneath them until they glowed faintly red. Did this thing really crawl out of a magma pool? The temperature here was absurdly high. As a carbon-based life form, how had it not roasted to death? Its head was tucked inside its shell, sound asleep. Jiang Sun checked its stat panel. Lava Turtle LV.8, Elite HP, 12,000 attack, 120 defense, 80 skills, Flame Jet, Shell Retreat Health Regeneration. 12,000 HP, 120 attack, 80 defense. For an average rookie party, this boss would be a massive hurdle. A strike of 120 attack could take down fragile professions of mortal rank in 2 hits. To Jiang Sun, however, it was nothing remarkable. Iron Sphere boasted 800 defense. The Lava Turtle's 120 attack could not even scratch its armor. Salted Fish had 240 defense, which the attack also failed to penetrate. This boss was nothing more than a stationary punching bag. Iron Sphere move out. Iron Sphere transformed into a streak of golden light and charged forward. Shaking Mountain Heavy Strike, 2,240 damage. Sparks burst across the Lava Turtle's shell. It stretched its head out of its carapace, let out a low roar, and unleashed a jet of flames straight toward Iron Sphere. The fire washed over Iron Sphere with barely any effect, easily absorbed. Jiang Sun nearly laughed out loud. You're not all that tough, old turtle. Iron Sphere landed another heavy blow. A third strike, a fourth. The Lava Turtle's health bar plummeted rapidly. It activated Shell Retreat once midway, regenerating 50 HP per second for 10 seconds, recovering a total of 500 HP. Iron Sphere's single hammer strike dealt 2,240 damage. That 500 recovered HP made almost no difference. In less than 20 seconds, the Lava Turtle's health hit 0. The enormous turtle's form dissolved into white light, leaving a treasure chest upon the stone ground. Jiang Sun walked over and opened it. Inside rested a pale yellow talisman the size of a palm, etched with intricate runes that shimmered faintly. Obtained item. First, rank barrier breaking talisman. First, rank barrier breaking talisman. I rank advancement auxiliary item effect. Reduces the difficulty of a first rank advancement quest. The talisman is not consumed if the quest ends in failure. Jiang Sun picked up the talisman and turned it over in his hands twice. Success. He had not expected to obtain this barrier-breaking talisman on his first clear. He had assumed he would need to run the trial multiple times before it dropped. Luck was on his side. He stowed the talisman in his backpack and exited the secret realm, stretching lazily in the plaza. Fledgling secret realm, farewell. Thank you for all the gains you've brought me. Well, Jiang Sun considered himself someone who knew how to show gratitude. Back home, Jiang Sun sat on the bed in his room, staring at the Universal Experience pool on his panel. Universal Experience points, 52,780. The number looked sizable at first glance, yet it vanished far too quickly once put to use. Promoting Iron Sphere from Gold tier to the next rank required 100,000 experience points. Salted Fish needed another 100,000 as well. Advancing his Vitality Source skill to Bronze tier cost 10,000. Leveling up also demanded experience. Worse still, he was only level 1. He possessed no cultivation art and could not attempt rank advancement. He needed to raise his level first. He opened his panel and gazed at the level 1 marking, taking a deep breath. It was time to grow stronger. This man who dreamed of becoming the greatest summoner could not rely solely on his summoned beasts. He himself needed power too. After sorting out his thoughts, he mentally tallied the numbers. According to the rules of the realm of observation, how much experience did it take to climb from level 1 to level 9? He ran the calculation through his mind. Roughly 50,000 experience points. Truth be told, Jiang Sun's experience acquisition rate already outstripped nearly all professions below first rank by a wide margin. Even so, his universal experience was still stretched thin. It was no wonder so many people failed to break through to first rank. The experience requirements were staggering. A 5-person party repeatedly clearing the fledgling secret realm would need dozens upon dozens of runs just to reach level 9. On top of that, defeating monsters more than 3 levels lower than oneself yielded 0 experience. If the fledgling secret realm had not unlocked those extra 3 layers after clearing, Most challengers would have been trapped permanently at level 8. Go hunt monsters on the surface? That was a deadly gamble. Without a first-rank professional to lead the team, no one dared step outside the safety zone. The Great Xia government had considered ways to support these low-level practitioners, yet the same problem persisted at second rank, third rank, and beyond. They could offer temporary aid, but not perpetual support. Thus, the nation chose to let practitioners forge their own paths. With over 15 billion citizens, countless new profession awakenings occurred each day. He held 52,780 universal experience points, nearly enough. Enough to raise himself straight to level 9, the peak of the mortal realm. There was no time to waste. He began immediately. Consume universal experience to level up. Universal experience being consumed. Level advancement in progress. The number for universal experience on the panel plummeted rapidly. As the experience drained, successive notifications surfaced. Minus 500 universal experience. Summoner LV1, LV2. Constitution +2. Agility +1. Intelligence +1. Free attribute points +5 minus 6,566 universal experience. Summoner LV5, LV6. Constitution +2. Agility +1. Intelligence +1. Free attribute points +5. Minus 13,929 universal experience. Summoner LV8, LV9. Constitution +2. Agility +1. Intelligence +1. Free attribute points +5. When the final notification faded, Jiang Sun had reached level 9. His universal experience pool fell from 52,780 to 2,736. 50,000 points spent entirely. He examined the shifts in his attributes. In the realm of observation, every level granted profession specific base attributes alongside free attribute points. Warriors, for instance, gained 1 stamina, 2 strength, and 1 agility per level, for base attributes total, plus 5 free attribute points. All things considered, the system was reasonably balanced. As a summoner, however, Jiang Sun found his growth attributes confusing. Each level granted him 2 constitution, 1 agility, and 1 intelligence. What was the logic here? Was the summoner meant to act as a tank? Upon reflection, it made sense. Summoners rarely expended heavy skill resources, yet the summoner themselves were always the weak link in any team. Hence the system's generous constitution bonus. From level up growth alone, he gained 16 constitution, 8 agility, and 8 intelligence. He had accumulated 40 free attribute points. He decided to hold on to them for now. He planned to visit the Summoners Guild to inquire about cultivation arts and first rank advancement. If there were special requirements for attribute allocation before breaking rank, he could distribute the points then. Adding the points now would barely boost his overall strength anyway. His maximum health surged significantly thanks to his constitution reaching 17. That aside, there was little immediate change. His core combat power still rested on Iron Sphere and Salted Fish. Leveling up merely unlocked the path for further progress. Level 9. Jiang Sun leaned back against the chair. Only 1 level away from first rank, yet the advancement quest requires a cultivation art. Cultivation arts could not drop from monster kills. They had to be obtained from the professional guilds. Every profession possessed its own guild, and summoners were no exception. Summoners were a niche profession within Great Xia's system, but official institutions still existed for them. The Origin Academy also distributed basic cultivation arts, though the process involved tedious reservations and long queues. The guild would be far faster. He set off at once. Heavenly Crafts Avenue housed all professional guilds within every floating city, and Greenwood City was no different. The exact location of the avenue varied across megacities. In Greenwood City, Heavenly Crafts Avenue sat on the boundary between the Western Old Quarter and the Central District. When Jiang Sun stood before the Summoners Guild entrance, he nearly thought he had arrived at the wrong place. No grand entrance, no gleaming signage. It was simply an old 3-story building with faded gray exterior walls. A wooden plaque hung by the door bearing the words Greenwood City Summoners Guild, its paint peeling in places. Compared to the imposing 5-story Warriors Guild building next door, this place looked incredibly shabby. Had the Summoners Guild always fallen on such hard times? Your savior has arrived. Come welcome me. Jiang Sun strode inside with unbridled confidence and pushed open the door. The hall was modest, roughly 50 to 60 square meters. A middle-aged woman with glasses sat at the front desk, buried in documents. Several young summoners sat on benches chatting quietly. They spoke in hushed tones, clearly discussing something they preferred to keep private. Curious, Jiang Sun slipped behind them to listen. Hey, have you heard? Our summoner contribution rewards keep dropping. It won't be long before the Summoners Guild gets downgraded again. I know, right? Greenwood City has hundreds of summoners, but not a single one managed to awaken a high-grade combat summoned beast. The Realm of Observation's mechanics feel like they're working against us summoners. Random summons are one thing, but why do we only get non-combat creatures? My summoned beast is a burrowing scale beast. It can't fight worth a lick, but it's decent at mining. I spend every day working as a miner in resource secret realms. You're luckier than me. At least you have a use. I summoned a rolled leaf slug. It's as long as an adult's arm, yet completely useless. I don't know what to do. I'm so stressed. Jiang Sun stifled laughter. They really were a group of unfortunate companions. He stopped eavesdropping and walked to the front desk, striking a confident pose. Hello, I've come to collect a basic cultivation art. The middle-aged woman lifted her gaze and glanced over him. What's your level? Level 9. Your talent grade? Grade B. The woman nodded and slid a form across the desk. Fill this out, then head to the second floor to see the vice president for assessment. Assessment? That's right. The woman adjusted her glasses. The guild registers every cultivation art issued. You must prove you possess the capability to wield one. Higher, grade arts are allocated based on demonstrated strength. If anyone could just walk in and claim one, the guild would run out of resources in no time. Jiang Sun took the form without argument, filled it out quickly, and headed upstairs. The second floor was more spacious, featuring a small training arena. Near the edge of the grounds stood a gray-haired middle-aged man in a worn robe, hands behind his back as he stared at a scroll mounted on the wall. He turned at the sound of footsteps. Here for a cultivation art? That's correct. The man sized Jiang Sun up. Level 9, grade B talent. Not many new applicants lately. You're the third summoner to request an art this year. He smiled, though the expression carried a hint of weariness. I'm Zhao Taizhan, Vice President of the Greenwood City Summoners Guild. What category of cultivation art are you seeking? Jiang Sun blinked in surprise. There are different categories? Naturally. Zhao Taizhan sat at a table and poured himself a cup of tea. 3 types exist: offensive, defensive, and balanced. Offensive arts boost summoned beast attack power. Defensive arts improve summoned beast survivability. Balanced arts offer moderate bonuses to both sides, without excelling in either. I would recommend balanced for steady, early progress. Jiang Sun considered for a moment. Didn't you mention an assessment first? Arts are distributed according to demonstrated strength. Zhao Taizhan raised an eyebrow, looking intrigued. Fair enough. A young lady from the Warriors Guild borrowed this arena today. Would you care to spar with her? Practical combat is the most accurate assessment. A Warriors Guild member? Indeed. She's also a new level 9 practitioner. She comes here every few days asking for sparring matches, hoping to learn how to fight different professions. Zhao Taizhan shook his head with a chuckle. Quite competitive, that girl. Just as he finished speaking, a clear voice rang out from the doorway. Uncle Zhao, I'm here. A girl with a high ponytail marched inside. A thin sword hung at her waist, and she wore lightweight armor, looking sharp and capable. She spotted Jiang Sun standing in the arena and paused. Oh, a new face. Zhao Taizhan smiled and made introductions. This is Jiang Sun. He's here to claim a cultivation art. You're both level 9. Why not have a spar to gauge his strength? Go easy on him, though don't injure him. The girl's eyes lit up, locking straight onto Jiang Sun. You chose to become a summoner? I doubt you've learned how harsh this world can be yet. She bared her small canine teeth, eyeing Jiang Sun challengingly. Oh, that was a bold statement. On the summoner's home turf, he would not let this warrior talk down to him. Hey there, miss. Don't speak so confidently. Luck can favor anyone. How can you be certain I won't have an incredibly powerful summoned beast? Tisk, plenty of confidence. I'm Lin Wanner, warrior, level 9. Come on, I won't bully you. Summon your beast. Jiang Sun watched her eager, battle-ready expression and fought back a smile. This girl was clearly a born combat enthusiast. He wasted no time, raising his hand. Iron sphere materialized before him, a dark, gold orb hovering in mid-air, covered in delicate golden runes. Vice President Zhao's eyes widened instantly, his mouth falling open in shock. Good heavens! A gold-tier combat summoned beast. The heavens have smiled upon us. Thank you, Realm of Observation. Summoners finally have someone capable of carrying our hopes once more. A gold-tier summoned beast? The stronger it is, the better. Lin Wanner remained filled with fighting spirit, yet she grew noticeably more cautious. I'm attacking now. Let me see what your summoned beast is made of. She shot forward like an arrow, moving at blistering speed. Her thin sword thrust straight toward Iron Sphere, the blade cutting through the air with a sharp whistle. Clang. Iron Sphere did not dodge. There was no need. With 800 defense, raw stats alone outmatched this young girl. When raw numbers win the day, complicated tactics are unnecessary. Charge straight ahead. That was the Iron Sphere's simple mindset. The sword tip struck Iron Sphere's surface, ringing with clear metallic resonance. Iron Sphere did not shift an inch. Not a single scratch marked its exterior. Lin Wanner froze. She had not unleashed her full strength, yet this strike carried 70% of her power. It should have elicited some reaction from an ordinary level 9 summoned beast. This Iron Sphere had not even wobbled. Before she could process what happened, Iron Sphere moved. Dark. Gold light flashed, and Iron Sphere crashed into her chest. Boom. Lin Wanner was sent flying backward, slamming hard against the wall with a dull thud. She slid down to the ground, clutching her chest and coughing. What on earth? She lifted her head, staring at Iron Sphere in disbelief. The sphere had moved far too fast for her to react. Zhao Taizhan stood to the side holding his teacup, grinning widely, his gaze fixed firmly on the floating dark, gold orb. Lin Wanner pushed herself to her feet, brushing dust off her clothes, and gripped her sword again, unwilling to concede. Again, she charged forward once more. This time she activated her skill, pale blue light wrapping around her blade. Sword art, lunge her speed nearly doubled. Clang. The outcome remained identical. The sword tip struck Iron Sphere without leaving the faintest mark. Iron Sphere charged again. Boom. Lin Wanner was sent flying a second time. Faced with Iron Sphere's swift assault, she had no chance to respond. This time she rolled across the ground, her sword slipping from her grasp and clattering on the stone floor. Iron Sphere had held back most of its force. If it unleashed the full multiplier of its shaking mountain-heavy strike, the blow would have defeated her instantly. She lay flat on the ground for a long moment before she could rise. That hurts. I give up. No more fighting. She rolled onto her back, gasping for breath. What kind of summoned beast is this? No level 9 summoned beast should be this tough. Are you cheating? Jiang Sun spread his hands. Cheating is impossible. Like I said, fortune can smile on anyone. I got lucky and summoned a gold tier combat beast. Convinced now. Convinced my foot. Fight me yourself without using your summoned beast. Lin Wanner scrambled upright, confronting Jiang Sun aggressively. TSK, this young fighter has incredible recovery ability. He was lying there whimpering a moment ago, yet he looks as good as new already. What's the point of being a summoner if you don't use summoned beasts? Beat it. Lin Wanner did not get upset upon hearing Jiang Sun's words. She walked over to the Iron Sphere and reached out to touch its surface. It felt cold to the touch, carrying the unique texture of metal. Is a gold tier summoned beast this powerful? Her big, watery eyes sparkled with curiosity. Jiang Sun said nothing, which served as tacit agreement. Lin Wanner gasped. Just imagine how strong Platinum, Tier, and Epic Tier 1s must be. I wouldn't know. How about you come and experience it when I summon an Epic Tier beast someday? You're just boasting. You should count your blessings just to summon a gold tier creature. Don't go daydreaming about Epic Tier 1s. Lin Wanner stroked the cool surface of the Iron Sphere, filled with envy. She suddenly grabbed Jiang Sun's wrist. Take me along with you later. I'm a warrior, and I can act as your frontline tank. Or come with me to the Warriors Guild. With your strength, they'll definitely assign you a high-grade cultivation manual. Jiang Sun's mouth twitched as he pulled his wrist free. Do I look like someone who lacks a frontline tank? Let go first. Not until you promise to take me. Zhao Taizhan could not stand watching any longer. Am I invisible to you too, flirting right in front of me? Shaolin, behave yourself. I'm still here. Lin Wanner let go of him but kept smiling at Jiang Sun, staring at him as if he were a precious treasure. Zhao Taizhan stepped forward and took hold of Jiang Sun's hand, examining him closely, just like someone sizing up a promising newcomer. So you're Jiang Sun. From now on, our Summoners Guild will be counting on you. You have no idea how tough we've had it these years. Our occupational contribution rating keeps dropping, and we're barely hanging on. Jiang Sun's heart skipped a beat. He knew summoners faced hardships, but he never imagined things were this dire. Earlier, he'd overheard conversations at the gate and refused to believe it, yet it turned out to be true. This brings us to the occupational contribution system. The Guanlon system implements the law of survival of the fittest to the fullest. Within the Guanlon framework, every time practitioners slay monsters, clear secret realms, craft food, or forge equipment, they earn contribution points for their respective occupation. The higher the contribution, the grander, larger, and more functional the occupation hall becomes. Most importantly, Contribution points determine the tier of cultivation manuals available at the Occupation Guild. Cultivation manuals are classified into Common, Yellow rank, Mystic rank, Earth rank, and Heaven rank. Starting from Yellow rank, each tier is further split into lower, middle, and upper subgrades. Guilds and cities with low occupational contribution can only provide lower-tier cultivation manuals. The Summoners Guild has fallen into a vicious cycle. Given the bleak state of affairs in Qingmu City, Guanlon only allocated common rank manuals to them. That was truly unfair. Fortunately, practitioners can cultivate multiple manuals. There is no rule forcing people to stick to a single foundational technique. Jiang Sun did not mind this much. Low-tier manuals were not a problem, for he possessed universal experience. Vice President Zhao stared at Jiang Sun earnestly. "May I see its stat panel?" Jiang Sun hesitated briefly, then nodded. Zhao Taizhan studied the panel for a while, fell silent for several seconds, and slowly exhaled. "Young man." He lifted his head, gazing at Jiang Sun as if staring at a mountain of gold. "Whatever you do, do not join another occupation guild. I will message the guild president right away and ask him to apply for yellow rank manuals available in higher tier main cities for you." "Huh? Can people switch to other occupation guilds?" "Of course. Many summoners who summon beasts are underwhelming switch to learn mage skills. They would rather become mediocre mages than remain registered with the Summoners Guild. Now you understand just how difficult life is for summoners, don't you?" Zhao Taizhan clapped him on the shoulder, his tone heavy with sorrow. Jiang Sun was stunned. He aimed to become the strongest summoner. Switching occupations was out of the question. "Rest assured, Elder Zhao, I will never join another guild. I'm determined to restore the reputation of summoners." "Young man, you hold such lofty aspirations." Zhao Taizhan broke into a grin. "The Qingmu City Summoners Guild will fully support you. You can come to us for anything we have in stock." Vice President Zhao had pinned all his hopes on Jiang Sun. "By the way, hasn't any other summoner managed to summon a gold-tier beast?" Jiang Sun asked. The whole situation felt somewhat surreal. "What do you think? This year, you are the only person in Qingmu City who chose to become a summoner. All the others took up the occupation in previous years. From what I know, fewer than 1,000 people across Great Xia chose to become summoners this year. Among them, the highest tier of summoned beast anyone has is silver tier. Yours starts off as gold tier, one of a kind. If I let a talent like you slip away, I might as well step down as vice president." Jiang Sun felt slightly embarrassed by his words. Lin Wanner listened beside them, her eyes shining, rolling her gaze as if plotting something. Zhao Taizhan walked into the back room, rummaged around for a moment, and brought out a thin booklet, handing it to Jiang Sun. "This is the basic summoning mind art, the balanced variant. It is the most fundamental version, but steady and reliable. You can adjust it to lean toward offensive or defensive paths later on. Start cultivating it first. Once the president secures the yellow rank manual, you can switch over." Jiang Sun took the booklet and flipped it open. A system notification popped up instantly. "Obtained cultivation manual basic summoning mind art." Jiang Sun let out a quiet breath. He finally had a cultivation manual. He added Elder Zhao as a contact to make future communication with the guild easier. It was a pity Jiang Sun had not registered with the Summoners Guild before clearing the hidden event in the early Bud Secret Realm. If he had, his accomplishments within the Secret Realm would have boosted the Summoners Guild's contribution score by a large margin. After all, what he did benefited countless ordinary awakened people in Qingmu City. If Elder Zhao learned about it, he would surely regret it deeply. He would think, if only you'd registered earlier, Guanlon might have granted our Qingmu City Summoners Guild a yellow rank manual. But there are no second chances, and Elder Zhao knew nothing of Jiang Sun's feats in the early Bud Secret Realm. After bidding Elder Zhao farewell and acquiring the basic cultivation manual, where should he cultivate? Head home. No. He owned a secret realm that could boost cultivation speed. This was the perfect chance to use it. Still, he could not enter the secret realm out on the open street. Crowds filled the roads. If he vanished out of thin air, sharp-eyed people would notice. He hailed another taxi and returned home. The house was empty. His mother had gone to work, and Jiang Xiaoxiao was at school. He channeled power into the secret realm key, and his figure flickered out of sight. Jiang Sun appeared on the first floor of his secret realm. Uncle Ashing was tending to a vegetable patch on this level. Jiang Sun wondered how the old man had cleared the land. Had he dug it up with his head? "Are you related to Piggy?" Digging with his head was impossible. He must have used tools stored in the wooden cabin. "Well, now, back so soon. I missed you, of course. I worried you'd be lonely staying here alone, so I hurried back." Uncle Ashing was not fooled. "Cut the flattery. You only come running when you have something to do. Don't try to deceive me. Jiang Sun mused playfully. He really was trying to deceive him. Uncle Ashing was a heroic spirit. So in a sense, did that make him a type of ghost? Jiang Sun waved the thin booklet in his hand. I received a cultivation manual. I'm heading to the 5th floor to practice. Off you go then. Bring more tools and spirit plant seeds next time you come. I want to get this field planted. Will do, Jiang Sun replied. His figure vanished immediately, teleporting straight to the 5th floor. As the secret realm master, he could do this easily without traveling through every floor one by one. He sat cross-legged beside the Yuan gathering steel. Normally distance creates separation, but not for the steel. The closer he sat, the denser the surrounding vital energy would likely be. He opened the basic summoning mind art. As soon as he unfolded it, a panel appeared. Obtained cultivation manual, basic summoning mind, art balance type. Manual tier, common. Cultivation ceiling, peak 2nd order. Status, uncultivated. 9 realms explanation. First 3rd realms mortal stage. Open 12 orifices including Tianfu, Zhongfu, Yunmen, Xiaobai, Chai's, Kongzue, Like, Jingxiu, Taiyuan, Yuji, Shaoshang. For orifices mark 1 realm, laying the foundation for meridian cultivation. Reaching peak 3rd realm unlocks qualification to break through to 1st order. 4th 6th realms 1st order, fully open the lung meridian of hand, Taiying. Peak 6th realm unlocks qualification to break through to 2nd order. 7th 8th realms 2nd order, fully open the triple energizer meridian of hand, Xiaoyang. 9th realms 2nd order, fully open the heart meridian of hand, Xiaoyin. Peak 9th realm equals peak 2nd order. Current progress, 0/9. Jiang Sun read the entire manual carefully from start to finish. Unfortunately, he barely understood a word. It was like a kindergarten child staring at a missile trajectory calculation formula, utterly confused. Come on, it could not be this hard. He was a transmigrator after all. How could he fail to comprehend the lowest tier manual? But confusion was not a problem. The system could teach it directly. He selected the Learn option on the system menu. The manual turned into a stream of light and flowed into his mind. A system prompt appeared right away. You have learned the cultivation manual, basic summoning mind art. Once learning finished, Jiang Sun flipped through the booklet again. This time, everything made sense. Truly miraculous. The system was incredibly reliable. He gradually grasped what cultivation manuals were all about as he read. They were far more than simple stat boosters. They functioned like converters. By cultivating a manual, you harness a power known as vital energy, the fundamental force of this world. All other powers evolve from vital energy. Beyond permanent stat boosts, cultivation manuals convert vital energy into extra health points and mana points. The volume of your vital energy reserve determined how much extra health and mana you could generate. It was akin to carrying permanent extra health and mana potions. Different manuals granted different fixed stat bonuses. Some boosted strength, others constitution to enhance different abilities. Warrior manuals leaned toward attack power. Iron Wall manuals prioritized health points. Summoner manuals favored mana and vitality. Higher tier manuals provided greater stat bonuses and superior conversion efficiency. Even among summoner manuals, a yellow rank manual boasted far better conversion ratios than a common rank 1. For example, 100 vital energy might convert into 1,000 extra health points with a common manual, while a yellow rank manual could turn the same amount into 2,000 extra health points. That was a massive gap. No wonder everyone chases high-tier manuals, Jiang Sun muttered. Identical vital energy yields twice as much power for others. How can anyone compete? He kept reading. The passive effects of manuals were equally vital. Fully mastering all 9 realms of this basic mind art granted a 50% overall stat increase to all summoned beasts. At first glance, it seemed modest, but upon rechecking the description, Jiang Sun realized this multiplier stacked after other bonuses. Rather than adding flat values like ordinary summoned beast enhancements, that changed everything. Base stats plus skill amplifications multiplied by the manual bonus created exponential growth. Manuals also unlocked unique abilities, such as improved energy conversion rates and exclusive skills. Such benefits could not be measured merely by numbers. He would discover more details slowly over time. Time to start cultivating. He closed his eyes, sat properly, and formed hand seals following the manual's instructions. He meditated for a while. Nothing happened. He could not sense any energy flowing inside his body. He tried once more. Still no response. What's going on? He opened his eyes and looked around. After learning the manual, He could clearly perceive vital energy all around him. Why could he not absorb it following the manual's guidance? Could cultivation really be this slow? The manual never mentioned innate talent or comprehension aptitude. Perhaps the low tier of the manual was to blame? It was not entirely fruitless. Jiang Sun sensed a tiny wisp of vital energy entering his body. At this pace, however, it would take him 1 or 2 months just to open the first orifice. Opening 4 orifices would take another 3 to 4 months after that. This was simply too slow. Jiang Sun's mouth twitched. He did not have that much time to spare. Even if he had the time, he could not sit motionless for months on end. Thankfully, he had universal experience. However, after raising his level to 9, his stock of experience was low. He was unsure if it could push the manual to the first realm. He opened the Universal Experience pool panel. Universal Experience. 2736, he chose to channel Universal Experience into advancing his manual realm. Universal Experience -500. Basic Summoning Mind Art. From uninitiated to first realm. Summon beasts overall stats times 5% Universal Experience -1000. Basic Summoning Mind Art. From first realm to second realm. Summon beasts overall stats times 10%. Constitution +5, a total of 1500 experience, shot him straight from uninitiated to second realm in an instant. Jiang Sun felt his orifices tingle, as if new chambers had opened within them. Warm currents circulated through his body, spreading from his chest, and carving stable energy pathways following fixed routes. The first realm unlocked 1 energy circuit, the second opened 2 more. At its core, cultivating a manual meant carving energy circuits within your body. Only open circuits allowed vital energy to flow. Only flowing vital energy let the manual take effect. The more circuits you formed, the more vital energy you could channel, and the stronger your bonuses became. Jiang Sun exhaled and opened his eyes. He glanced down at his hands. With these orifices and circuits unlocked, Jiang Sun could now store absorbed vital energy within the orifices. He wanted to advance further, yet his universal experience was exhausted. Ugh, I need to farm more experience again. Or should he grind? The strongest monsters inside his initial secret realm were level 8. Fighting them now would incur experience penalties. Should he head to the surface towns? Truth be told, he was reluctant to go before breaking through to First Order. It was far too dangerous. For his own safety, Jiang Sun planned to return to the novice trial secret realm. He wished he had not leveled up. If he had stayed level 1, he could repeatedly clear the trial secret realm and steadily farm universal experience. There was no going back now. He had already reached level 9. He had no choice but to endure the experience penalty and grind the 3rd floor of the early Bud secret realm. There was a silver lining, though. He might collect more First Order barrier, breaking talismans to sell for money. 3 days passed inside the secret realm, and Jiang Sun grew restless. The strongest monsters here were only level 8. Killing them granted barely any experience. His universal experience pool crawled from 1236 to just over 1800. His manual was stuck at second realm, and his level remained frozen at 9. The threshold to First Order stood right in front of him, yet he could not cross it. Should he travel to a surface town? He hesitated. He read countless posts online, growing more anxious the more he learned. Surface towns were divided into several categories: vanguard towns, logistics towns, and resource towns. Vanguard towns were the most dangerous, bordering monster territories and frequently facing monster sieges. Logistics towns were safer, positioned further back with fewer monsters. After browsing forums for a long time, Jiang Sun settled on a place called Qingmu Logistics Town. It was one of the logistics towns under Qingmu City, designated AE-17, home to over 20,000 residents. The town itself was small, yet relatively safe. Most surrounding monsters were levels 10 to 15. Occasionally level 20 wandering beasts appeared, but a squad of rock guard troopers was stationed there permanently. This is the place. He closed his panel and thought things over. He decided not to tell his mother about traveling to the surface for now. His mother already worried that summoners were weak. If she learned he planned to venture to the surface before reaching First Order, she would lock him indoors. He could not tell his younger sister either. The girl could never keep a secret. He would act first and explain later. He would rush to farm universal experience and return quietly. Once he broke through to First Order, he would reveal a little of his strength to his mother. Then he would shock Jiang Xiaoxiao completely. He could almost picture her stunned expression. Early the next morning, once his mother left for work and Jiang Xiaoxiao headed to school, Jiang Sun stepped out of the house. His home was on the western outskirts of the city. Tiangong Avenue sat between the Western District and the city center. Beside Tiangong Avenue stood the teleportation plaza. The So called Plaza, was a massive circular platform roughly 200 to 300 meters across. Complex patterns were etched in concentric circles at its center, forming a giant formation. 12 stone pillars surrounded the platform, each embedded with glowing crystal shards. Many people were already there early in the morning. There were merchants hauling large sacks, uniformed rock guard squads, fellow occupationalists heading to the surface to hunt monsters, and several people carrying hoes and shovels, presumably miners bound for resource towns. Jiang Sun walked up to the public teleportation counter. A uniformed woman sat behind the window, not lifting her head. Destination? Qingmu Logistics Town. 500 copper coins. Jiang Sun paid the fee, and the woman handed him a palm-sized metal plaque engraved with the teleportation formation's identification number. Wait by Pillar 3. We depart once we have 10 people. Jiang Sun took the token and walked over to the third stone pillar to wait. After roughly 10 minutes, the group was complete. An administrator walked over, collected all the metal tokens one by one, and counted the heads. All right, step inside the teleportation array and don't move a muscle. The 10 people entered the array and stood at its center. The administrator operated the control crystal beside them. Buzz. Patterns beneath their feet lit up. Pale blue, white light spread outward from the center of the formation, traveling along the intricate carvings all the way to the 12 stone pillars lining its edge. The glow grew brighter and brighter. Jiang Sun felt as though something was lifting him upward, leaving his feet feeling unsteady. In the next instant, a flash of white light blinded him. Once his eyes adjusted, he found himself standing in a completely unfamiliar place. Jiang Sun glanced around. So this was the surface safety settlement? The teleportation array shared a similar layout to the one in Qingmu City, a circular platform ringed by 12 stone pillars. Yet the surrounding architecture could not have been more different. Most buildings in Qingmu City were constructed from stone, neatly arranged with a hint of modern styling. Here, structures were wildly varied. Some were built from timber, others stacked stone, welded sheet metal, and several were repurposed shipping containers. They varied wildly in height and color, clearly erected privately by residents with no unified urban planning whatsoever. The streets were wide enough, but paved with flagstones cracked in many places, weeds sprouting through the fissures. Plenty of people wandered the streets. There were warriors clad in leather armor with blades at their waists, mages carrying staffs, street vendors carrying shoulder poles, and several shirtless men squatting by the roadside chatting as they smoked. The whole scene resembled an ancient town tourist district, yet far less tidy and well kept. A medley of scents hung in the air: roasted meat, sweat, dust, and an indistinct, unpleasant odor. This smell is overwhelming. Jiang Sun wrinkled his nose. He headed down the main street, observing the shops lining both sides. There were weapon shops, armor stores, potion vendors, general stores, and several establishments bearing signs reading materials wanted. A row of gleaming swords and blades hung outside the weapon shop, looking rather intimidating. Jiang Sun stepped closer to inspect them, and a system panel popped up. Fine iron long sword common. Attack plus 25. Grade, white. Price, 800 copper coins. 800 copper coins? That's daylight robbery. He muttered to himself and kept walking. The townsfolk barely spared him a second glance. Many adventurers traveled down from the floating cities to hunt monsters. His clean clothes and equipment made it obvious where he came from. After walking some distance, a tall outer wall came into view. It stood roughly 10 meters high, built from stacked stone, lined with iron spikes along the parapet. Watchtowers were spaced at intervals along the wall, housing sentries clad in full armor. Beyond the wall lay the monster territories. Jiang Sun took a deep breath. He could not afford to let his guard down once he stepped past this wall. Finding an empty corner, he summoned the iron sphere. The dark, gold orb hovered beside him, humming quietly. Old Iron, I'm counting on you today. The sphere rotated once, sending a thought toward him. Leave it to me. Near the edge of the safety settlement, Jiang Sun did not wish to reveal his full strength prematurely, so he only summoned the iron sphere and kept the salted fish hidden. A thought crossed his mind. Where exactly did summoned beasts reside when not called forth? Logically, there should be some form of summoning space. He had tried sensing for one before, yet detected nothing resembling such a space. He pushed the thought aside. An idea occurred to him. Why not summon the salted fish and send it into his secret realm? Even after forming a contract with him, monsters continued to spawn inside the realm, albeit at a slower rate, and their numbers built up over time. The salted fish had little else to do. It might as well put the spawns to good use. Now was not the right moment, however. Too many people wandered these streets. He would wait until he reached a secluded spot. Jiang Sun checked his status. Level 9, second stage cultivation technique, plus 10%, all attribute bonus from summoned beasts. He had few doubts about the Iron Sphere's power. Monsters around level 13 or 14 posed no real threat to it. He walked up to the city gate, where a sentry shot him a glance. Leaving the settlement? That's right, brother. Heading out. Register first. The sentry slid a notebook over. Name, level, class, expected time of return. Jiang Sun filled out the information quickly. The sentry scanned the page and nodded. You're a summoner who hasn't advanced to Tier 1. Are you certain you want to head out alone? Huh. He was being underestimated. He brought the Iron Sphere forward for the sentry to see. See this? I've got a gold tier summoned beast. I can look after myself. Even so, the sentry offered a word of caution. Stay alert. It's dangerous out there lately. Even with a gold tier summon, don't wander too far. Be back before dark. Thanks for the warning, brother. Jiang Sun pushed the notebook back and strode through the gate. Beyond the walls stretched an open wilderness. Scattered trees and thickets dotted the distance. And further still, he could make out the faint silhouettes of ruined buildings. Dry, earth-scented wind swept over him. Jiang Sun stood still for a moment, scanning the wilderness ahead. Time to start hunting monsters. Showtime. Once outside the gate, Jiang Sun followed the dirt trail onward. A system notification appeared. You have entered a wild monster zone. Monster level range. 10-15. He paused to survey his surroundings. Weeds ran rampant across rocky ground, with several gnarled trees in the distance. The landscape bore no resemblance to the early Sprout's secret realm. The terrain inside the realm felt artificially arranged, while this wilderness was untamed and wild. This was the surface of Earth, though there was no telling which region he stood in. Ever since the descent of Guanlan, the planet had expanded endlessly. To this day, humanity had no idea how vast Earth had grown, as no expedition had ever reached its boundaries. A rustling sound echoed from the undergrowth to his left. A large taupe wild boar emerged, curved fangs protruding from its jaw. It scraped the ground with its front hooves, ready to attack. Having caught his scent, the beast fixed its small eyes firmly on Jiang Sun the moment it stepped out of the grass. He checked its stats through the system. Iron, Tusk Boar LV .12 HP, 3200 attack, 180 defense, 60 EXP, 340. He really ought to learn the scouting skill soon. He recalled the public skill library contained such an ability. Once learned, he would no longer need to manually activate the system to view monster stats and could simply use the skill instead. A stray thought crossed his mind. Would boar meat taste good? The boar gave him no time to ponder. It charged straight at him, hooves pounding the ground, its massive frame sending faint tremors through the earth. Without hesitation, the Iron Sphere rushed forward to meet the charge. I'm the one who does the ramming. Don't try to show off in front of my hammer. Let's see who knocks whom over. Whoever flinches first loses, the Iron Sphere thought to itself. A deafening crash rang out. The boar was sent tumbling onto its back, struggling frantically to get back on its feet. Before it could steady itself, the Iron Sphere struck again with a savage blow. The boar toppled once more. After 2 hits, fear seemed to take hold of the beast, which let out pained squeals. The Iron Sphere showed no mercy and slammed into the boar's skull a 3rd time. The boar fell motionless. Blood seeped from its facial orifices. Even the skull, normally the toughest part of a boar's body, bore a deep indentation from the impact. Iron, Tusk Boar LV .12 eliminated. EXP obtained, 340. Loot, copper coins plus 40, boar tusk times 2, iron, tusk boar hide times 1, 340 experience points. Not bad. Higher, level wild creatures granted far more experience. This was far more rewarding than hunting monsters on the 8th floor of the secret realm when Jiang Sun was level 9. The surface was fraught with danger, yet the experience rewards were incredibly generous. He could only wonder about monster density. If creatures spawned frequently, his leveling efficiency would be excellent. The boar's body dissolved into light and vanished. Jiang Sun continued forward. Shortly after, he encountered another boar. The same tactic, the same outcome. The Iron Sphere defeated it in 3 blows. Further ahead, 2 thorn hyenas darted out from behind a tree, moving to flank him from either side. These creatures were far more vigilant than boars. They preferred to test their prey before striking instead of charging mindlessly. Thorn Hyena LV. 13 HP, 2200 attack, 210 defense, 40 EXP, 380. They moved with frightening speed, their claws stretching over 10 centimeters long, glinting like sharp daggers. Jiang Sun had no doubt those claws would inflict terrible wounds upon contact. Most unsettling of all, thorn, like spines jutted from their backs, hips, and necks, lending them a menacing appearance. The iron sphere did not grant them a chance to attack. A sweeping blow knocked the hyena on the left aside. Then it spun and sent the second flying. Neither hyena even managed to let out a cry before collapsing. The iron sphere was pleased. Almost none of the monsters here could pierce its defenses. By mid-morning, Jiang Sun had a clear grasp of monster distribution in this area. Iron, tusk boars were the most common. They boasted high health and defense and took slightly longer to defeat. Thorn hyenas were less numerous. Fast and tactically minded, they rarely traveled alone, hunting in pairs or trios. Though dangerous, they lacked durability. The iron sphere could take each one down with a single hit. Occasionally, he spotted venom sac lizards, cunning ambush predators. They often lay motionless atop rocks, their skin matching the stone to blend seamlessly into the surroundings. They waited until prey drew near before spraying venom without warning. Venom sac lizard LV.14 HP, 1800 attack, 90 venom attack, continuous damage, 30 HP per second for 10 seconds defense, 30 EXP. 420 Jiang Sun nearly got hit by venom during his first encounter. Where the liquid struck the ground, all nearby grass and vegetation withered instantly. Good grief. A direct hit to the face would be catastrophic. Losing hit points was one thing. He could not bear to have his features scarred. After that close call, he learned to send the iron sphere to circle every boulder first, flushing out hidden lizards before he drew close. By noon, hunger gnawed at Jiang Sun. He teleported back into his secret realm. As luck would have it, Uncle Ashing had just finished lunch, a barbecue, with roasted crab claws sizzling over flame. First, he summoned the salted fish, ordering it to patrol the secret realm and eliminate any newly spawned monsters. Only then did he sit down to feast alongside Uncle Ashing. He ate greedily while tallying his gains mentally. Opening his status panel, Universal EXP, 7820. He had left with 1800 EXP that morning, earning a net gain of 6,000 over several hours. Roughly 2,000 EXP per hour. He needed 16,800 EXP to reach level 10. He currently held 7820, leaving a deficit of 9,000. Still, leveling to level 10 was not urgent. His priority was advancing his cultivation technique to the third stage. After that, he would need to complete his Tier 1 advancement quest. He hoped to stockpile extra experience for unexpected needs. Advancing the technique from stage 2 to 3 required 2,000 EXP. To play it safe, he aimed to accumulate over 20,000 Universal EXP. At his current efficiency, another 2 days of hunting would suffice. Once full, he departed the secret realm alongside the Iron Sphere to resume hunting. He traveled further toward a stretch of rolling mountains visible far on the horizon, though he dared not venture too deep, fearing encounters with overly powerful high-level monsters. Monster levels gradually rose from 12 up to 14 and 15. EXP rewards increased accordingly, reaching over 400 per kill. This zone struck the perfect balance between safety and hunting efficiency. The Iron Sphere remained overwhelmingly dominant. As a gold-tier summon, fighting these ordinary level 10 to 15 monsters was effortless. By 3 in the afternoon, the Universal EXP pool on his panel climbed to 10,400. When would he gather enough experience to upgrade both of his summons to Platinum grade? The cost was staggering, a full 100,000 Universal EXP. How much stronger would he become once they advanced? Even then, he would still need to improve his own survival capabilities. Danger lurked everywhere. No matter how powerful his summons were, he could not afford to take a fatal blow himself. That said, Platinum-tier summon beasts would undoubtedly be far stronger. 100,000 Universal EXP was not an unattainable goal. It had been less than 10 days since Jiang Sun awakened his powers, yet he already commanded such formidable strength. Humans were never easily satisfied. He thought with a huff, pushing the thought aside. Daydreaming would get him nowhere. As his mind wandered, he picked up an unfamiliar sound. A heavy, imposing rumble, akin to a 100-ton hammer sinking into soft soil. The ground began to tremble. Jiang Sun halted. The Iron Sphere stopped too, hovering in front of him to shield its master. Trees in the forest ahead toppled one after another, as if some colossal creature was smashing its way forward. Dust billowed as a dark shape burst out of the tree-line. Jiang Sun's eyes widened when he saw what it was. A gigantic beetle. Its body was covered in dark brown carapace glistening in sunlight. A thick single horn jutted from its head, tangled with broken twigs and bark. It was more than twice the size of an iron tusk boar, for thick legs stamped the earth, leaving deep craters with every step. Solitary Elite Unicorn Beetle LV.20 HP, 15,000 attack, 450 defense, 320 skills, Horn Charge 2.5x damage, Carapace Fortification 50% damage reduction for 5 seconds, Tremor Area Stun EXP, 4200. He had stumbled upon a wandering elite monster. Jiang Sun's mind raced. Run? No way. He would fight it. He activated his summoning skill and called forth the salted fish as well. With both summons attacking together, the beetle's 15,000 HP would not last long, even accounting for its high defense. The iron sphere charged without hesitation. In its simple logic, any foe was to be rammed down, no exceptions. A streak of dark gold light shot forward as the iron sphere crashed toward the beetle's head. Clang! A shrill metallic ring echoed out. The iron sphere rebounded, spinning through the air before stabilizing itself. What unbelievably tough armor. The iron sphere had never faced an opponent with such absurd defense. The beetle staggered backward under the impact. Enraged, it lowered its head, aiming its horn at the iron sphere and tensing its legs to charge. Jiang Sun could not let it complete its charge. The blow might send the iron sphere flying. While the beetle prepared its attack, he ordered both summons to strike. Wave after wave of water arrows from the salted fish slammed into the beetle. The salted fish fought intelligently. Aware the beetle's dorsal carapace offered strong protection, it targeted the vulnerable seam between the shell and the abdomen. Each water arrow carved fresh wounds into the creature's body. The beetle finished charging. Boom. The ground shook as it surged forward like a heavy transport vehicle, targeting the iron sphere. True to its reckless nature, the iron sphere made no move to dodge. Jiang Sun sighed. Boldness had its place in battle, yet tactics mattered too. There was no need to absorb unavoidable blows head-on. He sent a mental command, urging the iron sphere to move. Reluctantly, it darted left, narrowly evading the beetle's charge. For all its size, the beetle lacked speed compared to the iron sphere. Jiang Sun observed its movements closely. Once it built momentum, stopping proved difficult, and turning took considerable time. This was the perfect opening to attack. The iron sphere rained heavy blows onto the beetle's back. The salted fish targeted vulnerable weak points on the creature's lower body. The beetle let out a sharp screech from the pain, attempting to turn and attack the iron sphere. Its turning speed was far too slow. By the time it twisted its head, the iron sphere had circled to the opposite side. Heavy crushing strikes landed repeatedly on its carapace. The shell split open, viscous bodily fluid spraying outward. The unicorn beetle's massive body crashed to the ground, sending another tremor through the earth. Its legs twitched several times before falling still. Solitary Elite Unicorn Beetle LV.20 eliminated. EXP obtained, 4200. Loot, copper coins plus 300, Unicorn Carapace times 1, Elite Core times 1. Jiang Sun sank onto the ground, gasping heavily. His heart thundered so loudly he could hear it in his ears. If the beetle had reached him before the iron sphere halted its charge, he glanced at his status panel. HP, 4495. Even the iron sphere, with nearly 900 defense, lost 730 HP from a direct hit. A single blow would have inflicted catastrophic damage on his far less resilient body. The surface was truly unforgiving. He must never grow overconfident. He only had one life, with no second chances. Jiang Sun reminded himself sternly. Out here on the surface, a single mistake against a level 20 wandering elite could lead to severe injury. Thankfully, his life source granted passive regeneration, recovering 28 HP each second. Yet that rate was starting to feel insufficient. Only 280 HP every 10 seconds, 1680 HP per minute. In 1 minute, he could be defeated dozens of times over. He needed far more universal EXP to learn and upgrade defensive survival skills. Still, progress could not be rushed. No one could achieve everything overnight. He remained seated for a long while until his heartbeat steadied, then stood and checked his EXP pool. Universal EXP 14600. Starting at 10,400, the elite monster added another 4,200. A worthwhile gain. Though difficult to defeat, elite monsters granted massive experience, equivalent to roughly 10 level 15 ordinary creatures. He decided to call it a day. His main goal was advancing his cultivation technique, and he now held sufficient experience. He would return once he advanced to Tier 1, when he would stand on firmer ground. He reached the settlement gates as dusk fell. Entering the town, he headed for the teleportation platform and paid the transit fee. A flash of teleportation light appeared, and Jiang Sun returned to Qingmu City. Stepping out of the teleportation square, he glanced toward his home. One glance was all it took to tell something terrible had happened. Bright searchlights blazed in the west of the city, illuminating half the sky. Beneath the lights, thick plumes of smoke and flames billowed from multiple locations. Jiang Sun had spent 10 years in this world after transmigrating, and he had never witnessed an attack inside a floating city. He had only seen news reports of monster assaults on other floating metropolises. Floating cities were protected by powerful energy barriers that ordinary monsters could not breach. Could someone be sabotaging the city? His home lay in the West District. So did his mother's workplace and his younger sister's school. Please, let everyone be safe. Panic surged through Jiang Sun. This was the main thoroughfare leading to the old residential zone in the West District. When Jiang Sun arrived, the entire road had been sealed off. A cordon had been strung around the West District, the orange, yellow strips glaring under the streetlights. Armored city garrison soldiers stood at the intersection, holding back the onlookers. Someone shouted, "My home is inside. Why won't you let me through?" A middle-aged woman sat on the ground weeping. "My child, poor child." An elderly man argued loudly with the soldiers. The noise of shouting mingled with distant explosions, creating total chaos. "Have you heard? A boss monster attacked the Old West District. Casualties are massive." "Yeah." The Panzer Guard reached the scene first, but their fight against the monster devastated a huge area. "I thought Wei Yu, the leader of the Panzer Guard, wasn't in the city?" "No one knows. Probably one of their centurions led the response." "How did that boss get into the city?" "Qingmu City hasn't suffered an internal attack in years. It's those infamous cults, no doubt. Those cultists deserve death. If I ever see them, I'll make them pay. Look over there. Members of the Bloodspike mercenary group have arrived to help put out the fires." Following the direction the crowd was staring, Jiang Sun spotted several water mages casting spells to extinguish the flames. Mounted on flying beasts, their staffs glowed brightly as water dragons and water projectiles slammed into the burning buildings. The flames were being suppressed rapidly, yet there were far too many fires for them to handle alone, and new blazes continued igniting further in the distance. Jiang Sun stared toward his neighborhood, swallowed by raging fire. Disaster had struck. As Jiang Sun burned with anxiety, desperate to get inside and learn the truth, a colossal monster silhouette suddenly crashed into the dense buildings in the southwest of the Old West District. The beast appeared out of thin air, an eerie sight. Everyone froze, stunned as if they had seen a ghost. "How is there another monster?" "Run! Don't gather here. It's extremely dangerous." The soldiers manning the blockade shouted urgently. The crowd scattered, rushing away from the West District. Jiang Sun locked eyes on the newly arrived creature. It was a scorpion monster, 200 meters long and over 100 meters tall. Its razor-sharp tail pierced straight through a building with one jab. Screams and explosions erupted from that direction. Moments after the monster descended, 5 figures soared into the air from behind the cordon, the responders who had arrived earlier. They immediately engaged the beast, unleashing countless skills against its body. Wounded, the massive monster thrashed violently, tearing down building after building. It would take several minutes to slay it, and every passing second brought more destruction. Is this a world of giant beasts? What level could a creature this size be? Jiang Sun's heart trembled with shock, but fear for his family outweighed everything. The monster had landed frighteningly close to his home. Right now, nothing mattered more than the safety of his mother and sister. Against the tide of fleeing people, Jiang Sun sprinted toward the blockade. He was about to dash past when a hand shot out to stop him. "The area is sealed off. Non-combat personnel are not permitted entry. There may still be saboteurs lurking within. Please step back." "My home is inside," Jiang Sun gasped. "My mother and my younger sister are there." The soldier studied him, his tone softening slightly. "I still can't let you pass. Haven't you seen a second monster just appeared? Charging in would be suicidal." Watching Jiang Sun's frantic expression, the soldier offered a few comforting words. "Rescue teams are already on site. No one may enter until the situation stabilizes. This is an order from the city lord's mansion. Rest assured, we will do everything we can to protect everyone trapped inside. I need confirmation that my family is alive. I can't just wait here with no news." The soldier was conscientious. "What are your relatives' names?" "My sister is Jiang Xiaoxiao. My mother is Su Xiulan." Jiang Sun answered instantly. The soldier fell silent for a moment, seemingly communicating with someone via a communication device. Then he turned back to Jiang Sun. "Your mother and sister have been transported to the 3rd medical station. You can find them there." Jiang Sun's heart sank. If they were unharmed, they would never have been sent to a medical station. Something was wrong. Dread gnawed at him as he raced toward the 3rd medical station as fast as he could. wishing he could sprout wings and fly there instantly. Though he had only arrived in this world through transmigration 10 years ago, the bond he shared with his mother and sister had grown deeper with every passing day. Jiang Sun cursed himself. Why had he chosen this exact day to go monster hunting? If he had stayed home, could he have protected them? He glanced at the monster locked in battle in the distance, and cold dread washed over him. Even if he had been present, he would have stood no chance against such a beast. He was still far too weak. A burning desire to grow stronger ignited within him, a stark contrast to his formerly laid-back attitude. Please stay safe, Mother Xiao Xiao. Wait for me. Jiang Sun prayed silently. This attack would shatter countless families, claiming countless innocent lives. Hatred for the three infamous cults blazed inside him. He had heard official broadcasts from the Great Xia Empire condemning them as troublemakers who sided with monsters, yet it had all felt distant until now. Now the violence had reached his own family. If anything happened to his mother or sister, he swore he would hunt these cultists to the last man. The Abyss Cult, the Blood Moon Cult, and the Black Lotus Society, the three most wanted cult organizations across the Great Xia Empire. The Abyss Cult was the most mysterious and dangerous. Its followers worshipped the will of the Abyss, believing human resistance was futile. They claimed only the annihilation of humanity would bring forth the sacred descent of the Abyss. These fanatics constantly sabotaged society. They infiltrated ordinary citizens, administrators, and adventurer guilds, making them nearly impossible to root out. The Blood Moon Cult was a group of brutal lunatics who worshipped the Blood Moon God. They regularly carried out massacres and sacrifices, assassinating human elites and prodigies, a constant source of rage for the Great Xia Empire. The Black Lotus Society was the most cunning. They trafficked people, dealt in slaves, and manufactured contraband. These calculating criminals created unknown forbidden artifacts that repeatedly brought catastrophe to human territories. Jiang Sun had only read about these factions before, never expecting to cross paths with them so directly. Lost in these thoughts as he hurried toward the medical station, he rounded a street corner without slowing down. At that exact moment, a figure darted out from the opposite side. Neither of them had time to react, hidden from each other's line of sight. Bang! The two crashed forcefully into one another. As a mage, Jiang Sun possessed low-strength attributes. The collision left him dizzy. He stumbled backward and landed hard on the ground. The other person fared similarly, sliding farther back before also sitting heavily on the pavement. They were equally shaken. Rubbing his throbbing head and chest, Jiang Sun looked up. The figure was a young woman. She wore a dark gray jacket, her hair messy and her face smudged with ash, as though she had just fled the fire zone. Instead of standing immediately after falling, she flinched backward. Her reaction was not that of someone hit by accident, but of a person caught red-handed. Could the impact have stunned her? Unlikely. Both were awakened professionals strengthened by the system, capable of enduring such a blow. A large patch of skin on her palm had scraped raw, fresh blood seeping from the wound. Jiang Sun broke the awkward silence first. Are you all right? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. She said nothing, merely shaking her head and pushing herself to her feet. She swayed unsteadily and nearly fell again. Jiang Sun reached out to steady her. The West District is locked down. All injured civilians are being treated at the 3rd medical station. If you're hurt, you should head there. She lifted her head and stared at him, studying him cautiously, as if trying to identify who he was. Her gaze was guarded. Then she lowered her head and whispered, "Thank you," before turning and running off in another direction. She fled in obvious haste, as if evading pursuit. Jiang Sun watched her retreating back, frowning. Dark gray jacket, scraped palm, that guilty, wary look. But he could not afford to linger. He turned and continued his dash to the medical station. The 3rd medical station was normally a community clinic, but now a crowd surrounded its entrance. Inside, the corridor was packed with casualties. People with head wounds, broken arms, and gaping lacerations lined the space. Low-ranking spirit healers rushed back and forth tending to the wounded. Dried blood stained the floor, sticky underfoot. He spotted Jiang Xiaoxiao at the end of the corridor. His sister sat on a bench, her school uniform covered in dust, dark smudges streaking her face. Her eyes red and puffy from crying. The moment she saw him, she jumped up and grabbed his arm in a tight grip. "Brother, Mother's inside. How is she?" Tears spilled down Jiang Xiaoxiao's cheeks, her voice trembling. A healer said, "Mother's legs can't be saved. Both of them." A loud buzzing echoed in Jiang Sun's mind. How could this happen? What about you? Are you hurt anywhere? I'm fine, just a few scrapes. A spirit healer treated me already. Brother, go see Mother quickly. I can't lose her. She broke down sobbing. helpless despair ringing in her voice. Spirit healers were the primary healing class in this world, one of the 8 basic combat professions. Minor injuries and ordinary ailments could be healed with a single spell. He opened his mouth to speak, yet no words came out. How is this possible? There are healers here. If spirit healers can't help, aren't there saint healers? Why can't they treat her? Where is she? Jiang Xiaoxiao pointed toward a door at the end of the corridor. A red light glowed above it, marked treatment in progress. He walked over and leaned against the wall beside the door, overwhelmed with anxiety. The corridor echoed with the footsteps of rushing healers, cries and shouts filling the air. He stood there for a long while. Eventually, the door swung open. A healer wearing plain white mage robes stepped out, exhaustion etched across her face from witnessing countless tragedies. Who is the family member of Su Xiaolan? I am. Jiang Sun straightened up. The healer glanced at him, then at Jiang Xiaoxiao, and sighed. She's stable. Her life is no longer in danger. She paused. However, her lower body was completely torn away by the monster. Without an epic, tier or higher healing spell, or some extraordinary heaven, tier treasure, she hesitated, reluctant to deliver the harsh truth. She will never walk again. We can only seal her wounds with our current abilities. Practitioners capable of casting epic healing magic reside mostly in the Divine City. No one of that caliber is stationed in Qingmu City or other major floating cities. I'm truly sorry. Jiang Sun clutched the hem of his clothes, staring blankly as he absorbed the words. The healer gently patted his shoulder and walked away. Jiang Xiaoxiao began to weep quietly. Jiang Sun remained motionless for a long time, his mind numb. He and his sister stepped into the ward. Their mother lay unconscious, her familiar face drained pale from massive blood loss. Jiang Sun spoke softly to comfort Jiang Xiaoxiao. Don't worry. I will find high-rank healers to restore mother's legs. I promise you that. Gone was Xiaoxiao's usual liveliness. Now she was just a vulnerable child clinging to hope for her mother's recovery. Tell me everything that happened to you too. From Xiaoxiao's account, Jiang Sun learned the full story. Misfortune had struck without warning. The attack began at dusk. His mother had just picked Xiaoxiao up from school, and they were heading home when chaos erupted. Explosions sounded everywhere, flames erupting across the district. An iron-armored rhinoceros monster materialized out of nowhere in the old residential zone. By cruel luck, it appeared only a short distance away from them. To shield Xiaoxiao, their mother was attacked by minions summoned by the rhinoceros, who bit off both her legs. The Panshir guard arrived soon afterward, slaying the monster and transporting the two to this medical station. Guilt crashed over Jiang Sun. If he had been there, his 2 gold-tier summoned beasts might have held the monsters off. His mother would not have lost her legs. He believed recovery was possible. Securing an epic healing spell was achievable. If he could not hire a powerful healer, he could even learn the spell himself and level it with universal experience points. What pained him most was imagining his mother's agony when she was injured, a woman who had sacrificed so much to raise him and Xiaoxiao. Rage toward the masterminds of the attack intensified. He realized he could seek information from the Panshir guard. After calming Xiaoxiao down, he said, "Call me the moment mother wakes up." "Brother, where are you going?" "I need to sort something out. I won't be long." He stepped outside the medical station and scanned the streets for Panshir guard members. They wore standardized armor, easy to identify. The streets remained in chaos. Groups of residents talked anxiously, some weeping, some shouting angrily, others rushing to salvage belongings. The air reeked of smoke and burnt rubble. He spotted an officer of the city garrison standing a short distance away, issuing orders to several soldiers. A man in his 40s, worn out but sharp, eyed as he gave instructions. Jiang Sun walked over. "Excuse me." The officer turned and sized him up. "You are? I live in the Old West residential zone. My mother was injured in the attack." The officer nodded. "Casualties are extremely heavy. What do you want to know?" "I need to understand exactly what unfolded." The officer fell silent for several seconds. This was a carefully planned, organized attack, intended solely for slaughter. Saboteurs set fires across the district to spark panic and distract the Panshir guard. Then they smuggled a level 50 boss into the city, followed by a peak first order boss over level 100. Jiang Sun blinked in shock. Over level 100? Don't the floating cities have protective barriers? The barriers keep out monsters from outside. That boss was carried inside sealed within a containment vessel. It did not break through the shield from the exterior. Who carried out this attack? The officer hesitated, weighing whether to speak. The Abyss Cult. The name settled heavy in Jiang Sun's chest. They ruptured the containment vessel to release the monster, then fled in the confusion. Only those 2 monsters. 2 were more than enough to wreak havoc. The officer let out a bitter laugh. The level 50 boss was dealt with swiftly. The Panzer Guard responded and eliminated it within 3 minutes. But a peek first. Order boss inside a floating city is an unstoppable wrecking ball. Fortunately, several Panzer Guard Centurions were present. Otherwise, the entire West District would have been flattened. 3 minutes. Jiang Sun repeated the phrase quietly. In those 3 short minutes, his mother had lost her legs. Have you arrested the ringleaders and all cult saboteurs? We have detained 4 or 5, but more than a dozen escaped, the officer replied. The captives are being interrogated, yet they refuse to talk. Abyss cult operatives undergo harsh training and know what awaits them if caught. Are the fugitives still inside the city? Most likely, the officer said. We sealed the area quickly, but the Old West District is a maze of narrow alleys. It's easy to hide. The image of the woman he had collided with flashed through Jiang Sun's mind. Dark gray jacket, messy hair, scraped palm, that wary, guilty expression. There was something off about her. Could she be one of them? Something on your mind? Nothing. Jiang Sun pushed the thought aside. Thank you for your time. The officer called after him. What neighborhood do you live in? Compensation will be issued later. I don't need it. Jiang Sun walked away without looking back. Now that he knew the Abyss cult was responsible, his path was clear. From this day forward, he would stand against the cult. Fanatics? He would show them what true ruthlessness looked like. He wandered the streets of the West District. Familiar neighborhoods lay in ruins. Collapsed buildings jutted with broken steel and rubble. Deep gashes scarred the pavement, as if raked by massive claws. Dust and ash hung thick in the air, and shattered glass crunched under his feet. Staring at the devastated landscape, Jiang Sun could not comprehend the cult's motives. For 300 years, ever since the game world merged with reality, countless pioneers had fought to secure humanity's survival. Yet some people chose to hinder them and sow destruction. He stood before the wreckage for a long time. He had all the time he needed. That night, Jiang Sun and Xiao Xiao stayed at the medical station beside their mother. She remained unconscious. The healers explained this was normal. Though healing magic closed her wounds, the massive loss of vitality forced her body to rest. Sitting by the window, he watched city garrison patrols marching along the streets. His thoughts kept drifting back to the woman he had crashed into. Her face, her gray jacket, her injured palm, that suspicious demeanor. He had not realized how strange her behavior was at the time. If she belonged to the Abyss cult, she must still be hiding somewhere in the West District.